Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with Eeply to bring you guys a little bit of a change of pace when it comes to the RGL stream. We have a EU versus NA Witness Gaming show match on our hands in the wee early hours of the afternoon. A bit of a change of pace from the night games that we're used to when it comes to NA, but I'm sure we have some EU viewers as well due to a bit of a friendlier time zone. And we got a show match on our hands. Like we said before, this is all for fundraising for the NA Witness Gaming roster to go to Copenhagen Games later on next year in April, and the other Witness Gaming roster of the EU side will be attending as well. So not only is it a show match for the fundraising purposes, but also maybe get a little bit of a sneak peek of what we might see later on next year. Eeply, we've got quite the show match on our hands. Gonna have 3 maps, one on NA, or 2 on NA and 1 on EU. 3 different maps, Snakewater, Process, Sunshine. Got a lot on our hands this afternoon/night, and I'm excited to see what is going to be happening in not too many minutes. I can only assume there's a lot of people in the server already.
Yeah, no, people are pretty keen. I mean, I'm pretty keen as well. It's nice to see some of these players who, I think, looking at these rosters, there's definitely gonna be some players who have, like, presumably never actually gone against each other, or at least maybe in some of these like more recent like essentials or whatever different cups which have happened over the past year of lockdowns and such. But it'll be good to see people kind of feeling each other out. Obviously they're all brothers in arms. On the old Witness Gaming banner. But when we get to Copenhagen, all bets are off. You're gonna have to go hard against some of your friends and enemies. So I wanna see people have some good games.
It's always a treat. Stuff like this doesn't happen too often because the logistics of it being really difficult to just the time zone and the servers and all that. Most of the times, it's like you said, the only times a lot of these players really ever play against each other is, random cups here and there. You might find a spare weekend out of the year where those run on, and then you also find yourself free enough to participate, across to a different region, as well as maybe some like random pugs if you're, EU staying up a little bit later, NA, being a little bit more early when it comes to the normal times that you play TF2. So, yeah, for the most part, I'd say it's a lot of players' first interaction with each other. And that's always really exciting because when you play League play, you're playing against at a high level against all these players that you've been playing pugs against forever. All the tendencies that oh, this person likes to do this on this map, or they play in this style. That's kind of a question mark. It's kind of a throwback to when you see teams that are like, oh, we're playing a move up team. They're a move up team, but we don't know anything about them. But now it's not just like a lower skilled team going up a div. It's a team that I think both these teams are in a pretty good spot where a lot of people would be surprised if they didn't make the grand finals in their respective regions. So despite the
Yeah.
ping differences here between the servers, it's going to be quite the battle between these two rosters.
Yeah, like that. It's exactly what you say. Like that's a really fun thing because like when you play within your own region, even playing at like what I guess especially playing at the very top, you'll play against the same players kind of season, in and out. So playing against people of that same caliber, but who you just really haven't interacted with, like you just get those opportunities for like kind of pretty kooky stuff, pretty weird things. I will say we do have a few roster substitutions. I think might be worth going through some of those because unfortunately some players couldn't make it today. I know for certain Mula, the medic for the EU side, couldn't make it, so Domo will be playing in the place of Mula. Domo, of course, being another absolute top level European medic previously of Demoman fame as well. So bit of a multi-classer, but yeah, I mean Domo's won Prem more than once at least on medic, so definitely not going to be too much of a downgrade.
Yeah. And then for the NA side, I think Yite and Logai were unable to make it. I mean, the logistics of this is kind of hard given the time zone differences, so you're going to have a couple substitutions here, of course. But we do have High Five and Cookie Jake replacing them for the show match. High Five taking up the flank scout role, which, I mean, it's not he's unfamiliar with it, but he normally plays like a heal-based style, so it's going to be interesting to see him in a more playmaking spot. Like he's made plenty of playoff appearances, and I think he's taking a hiatus this season, but coming up for the show match in clutch. Same with Cookie Jake, also had many appearances in grand finals nonetheless, replacing Logai as medic for today, but he is also not currently playing this season, available for the show match. So 2 substitutes, but I mean, they're substitutes that I think all the players are pretty familiar with, so I don't think it's going to hamper their ability to coordinate too much. So interesting to see how that'll kind of change, like little nuances of their playstyle, though. It should be really neat to see.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this first map. This will be on a European server, so sorry, NA. I'm seeing averages of, I'm seeing some 80, some 100, some 140-ish ping, so this is going to be some rough times, but I'm going to be really interested to see how the NA side kind of deals with it. Specifically, like, obviously you're going to know much more about this than me, Jared, but kind of being on the European side of things, you know, this just because of time zones, there's only so much NA stuff you can really watch. To me, Artist is just a name which kind of appeared seemingly out of nowhere from my point of view, kind of a couple seasons ago, and just seems to be absolutely like insane.
He really did. Last season was his first season of Invite. He was a move up from placing in Advanced, and I think he just got his name out there because of Puggin culture. So everyone was kind of, and Invite was familiar with who he was as a player, despite not necessarily playing league matches with each other, and was
Yeah,
able to get a spot on Witness. At the beginning, it seemed like normal gameplay that you would expect out of an Advanced move up. Like, all right, you got talent, but there's still some room left to be desired, and the change just from the beginning of the season to the end of the season was very, very apparent. He definitely earned the victory that they got last season. So I mean, it's going to be interesting as you continue to test yourself again and again and see what's going to happen, not only for the league but for the show match as well. Because it's one thing to play against players like we said before that you're kind of familiar with, playing in pugs so often, and then you kind of go over into the league matches, and it's you can kind of get some tendencies, but with a completely untreaded waters here when it comes to I think I don't know about the EU side. I know for the NA side, there's maybe like I think the only person that might like actually ever do EU pugs is like maybe one or two at most. Even then, I wouldn't even be able to comfortably say how frequent it would be. So I'm going back to saying that there's probably not a whole lot of crossover here when it comes to a lot of the players.
yeah. I can't say I don't know too much about the Europeans and what exactly they get up to in their spare time, but I don't think many of them will be up particularly late doing weird pugs and stuff. I mean, if you can drag Tomas away from Dota, you're already having a good day, you know. So yeah, this will be cool to see. We are just missing, I believe, one player. I don't
I
know.
think we're missing Brand Slam. He might be late? Question mark. And they have to
Oh,
get
buddy.
someone until he's able to show. But excited to see. It's gonna be interesting with the whole ping thing. We haven't really talked about. I mean, we obviously know it's there, but we haven't really discussed it too much. I think we're playing on a New York server and then maybe like a French server or something like that. Starting with the EU server first. It's gonna be interesting because uh, Laz and Ash, they're rocking under 100 right now, and that's because they're not too far away from they're in the East Coast as well as Brand Slam, so they're able to have somewhat of a manageable ping. But you're kind of rocking, like you said before. I think touched on maybe like the 140s, which I think that's pretty standard, I'd say for like NA going over to EU server. Like if you get 140, you're like, all right, I expected this.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely not going to be what people are used to. I'm kind of expecting. Like, it's always unfortunate when you do these show matches because it is online. It tends to go a certain way where the EU team will do very well on the EU side, the NA team will do very well on the NA side, just because ping does make a significant difference. However, it does still allow big opportunities to make big plays, and you got to remember, like, even if the projectiles kind of get messed up a little bit, scouts can still be just as much scout class, right? It's still
True.
they can still just absolutely mow people down. This is I'm really really interested in seeing what the scouts. Well, so specifically, I was going to say I really wanted to see how Brandstam does, but of course, if he's not here for map one, that will be unfortunate. I'm specifically interested to see what like Yeehaw will do on the NA side of things, because Yeehaw in Europe, he's just known as that scout that just terrorizes flanks. Like, he'll just get behind or like take a 1v1 and like he'll just do something, crack open your flank, get in an annoying position, and then just never let you have fun for the rest of the map. He can just like hard bully like top prem teams by just like literally terrorizing their flank. And I really want to see what he can do when you have to kind of play around that like NA ping. You can't quite kind of dodge and get that information as quickly.
Yeah,
That'd
and
be
then
fun.
even though we're starting on Snakewater, the later two maps are a little bit of a scout playground as well. I think it's gonna be Process and then Sunshine. So that's always going to be fun for a scout to make sure that you have the room to move and wiggle around. There's no tight corridors that you have to deal with like running through. At least in comparison to a lot of other maps that could be in the pool. But I guess it's also going to put a lot of stress on some of the soldiers. Realistically, you're playing maps where fake bombs are very prevalent, where it's kind of hard to find a place to commit, and trying to stuff a door isn't necessarily a go-to strategy given the geometry of some of the maps. So you get a bit of a freebie here for the side of Snakewater to make sure everything's a bit easy. But I think once we swap over to the other maps, I think it's going to be on NA servers as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how well the EU side does to make sure that they're able to find their footing for their explosive classes.
Yeah. Should be good. All right. I see our 6th player joining on the NA side. All 12 are in the server. They're pretty much ready to go. So, I mean, I feel like this is the point in the cast where usually you'd be like, cool, let's make predictions. I feel like that's not really going to be super relevant here. My question is, who's going to be hitting the most air shots? The only stat that matters.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly. I think for each server, you definitely have to pick someone who's going to have the lower ping. I definitely do not expect it to be. Oh, Brainstorm's here, so that's good. By the way, I think we are reaching the under 60-second marks. That's always good to see. But I think for at least for this map, because it is going to be on EU server for the side of Snakewater, definitely looking at Opti or Hugo for air shots. Maybe Mac. I just explosive class in general, probably EU side, definitely not NA side, because I mean you could say that it could be like Laz or Ash or Artist because they are, well, actually not Artist, he's at 140. Laz and Ash do live in New Jersey. They're rocking 75 ping. It's not terrible, but I mean you can't bank on them when you just look at the pings on the other side.
I don't know, some of these players, sometimes they can just make magic happen on 140. But here we go, going live. This is going to be our NA versus EU Witness Gaming show match here. Make sure you check out the old fundraiser on TFTV as well. It's all for a wonderful cause. Get us back the old intercontinental lands.
True, it's always a sight to see, and going to be seeing what happens at the very first mid to set the pace of the game. Both demos men arriving, trying to spam with the other team right off the bat, and it seems like it's going to be a top right mid for the side of the red team, trying to get some positioning. Double bomb coming in from Laz and Ash, a little bit of fake. Ash bombing in, trying to land on a demo, popping into the air, rocket against the wall, but not quite hitting the mark. Meanwhile, Artist and Laz and Ash going to all die. CookieJake very low, has to run out through low, and Brands him following suit, recognizing the mid is pretty much lost. And the side of the EU squad, they're able to find the counter initiation, and they're still going in. Bomb coming in from Mac, jumping in right into Branson, piped in, and CookieJake will fall off the distraction. Just scouts left alive, high five in the thick of it, almost getting the shot onto Hugo, but not quite collecting the kill. And Witness Gaming NA will fall for the first mid, almost able to get out, but not quite. A hot on their tails, and a free second for the side of the EU squad.
Yeah, that's a really, really crucial deep bomb from Mac right at the end there. Kept himself just healthy enough, get the ammo, and then second he sees them towards bridge, gets that bomb, and it wasn't even really the damage. It was a juggle on CookieJake. You know, so the second he couldn't get through that doorway, he's as good as dead anyway. So super clutch stuff there. Going to be a big old Uber advantage. EU looking good. Want to get this first round Ubering straight to the shutter.
Yep, going in, straight to the gun, able to knock that down, getting some damage over onto the stutter, and at the point, actually getting a little bit of cap time, bringing the soldiers over from the side of Witness Gaming. Mac gonna fall, so no stickies to lock down. There's scouts high five falling as well, though. Bloodbath all over the side. Ash is almost falling, getting very low, deep into the spawn to Opti, getting the last rock on Artist, make sure there's no stickies, immediately getting on the point, the side of Witness Gaming. Ash on the point, trying to block it, but it's only Domo left alive, and they got a very early pick, the side of the EU squad, but I think things kind of just crumbled, not able to get the cap time, bringing the side of the NA squad over quick enough, and just barely, the side of Laz and Branson will survive and work their way over to the second point.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Artist actually just walked straight out of spawn again, just didn't get seen at all, just started sticking point, like, you know, it's all good, just kind of living his life. We did see CookieJake actually died a little bit earlier, so this is going to be about 20-25% advantage here for the side of NA. It's not particularly big. If they're really brave, they could try and pick in front. It's actually EU. They're trying to bust in hard. They're trying to use this ping advantage all the way towards his left-hand side. Soldiers are going to be jumping high on both sides. Jake getting pretty weak, but both soldiers directly in his face, going to be getting absolutely crushed in that corner. And the rest of these EU players, they need to back up, boys. They need to keep their medic alive.
Yeah, the NA squad just wasn't able to prepare to stuff those doors, and the EU squad able to work their way through the emptiness of the hallways, making sure that CookieJake was collected, but they have to keep their own medic alive. A little bit of damage onto the side of Demo, but he's backed up, safe and away. High five will eventually fall to some stickies from Max, so it seems like their push from the side of the NA squad is immediately squashed and able to clean up that trap that Artist set at the very last second. So Opti and friends, they're working over towards Saw, and actually, never mind, they're leaving Opti alone. They're going lower with Hugo, making sure they're able to make some space here. They do have their Uber ready to go. Oh, arrow onto Mac. He's immediately at 12 HP, trying to create some space. Laz bombing in, onto Domo, unable to hit the surf, and Laz will fall, but able to get that pop in, and the rest of the NA squad are completely out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. Got that Pretty solid there, all in all. Losing just one player for that force is pretty significant now. RGLgg is still only 50%, so EU's going to be trying to bust all the way in. They're taking huge damage now. Nice little arrow, but the soldier follow-up. Ash crushing there alongside High Five. That's going to be easy. We do see. Oh,
last second cleanup.
Walks all the way in.
I guess they thought it was pretty much over, but he just finds the avenue to work his way through and collect 2 frags. That was going to be a 1 for 3, but immediately just made that a complete bloodbath and so many players dying on each side. Most importantly, Domo actually he lived. That's not even just a later spawn. He's at 60%. They're looking to use their heal advantage immediately to bomb into 2. Oh, nice air shot onto Laz. If you're looking for the air shot counter, you can put 1 on Hugo's mark, and that is going to be a recap second for the side of Witness Gaming EU and a full Uber ad that I can only imagine will eventually come into the equation as Opti continues to roll out in the rest of the game. The rest of the team already working way through this left-hand side over to the shutter, getting onto the point. Uber coming out, getting some damage onto the gun to bring it down. The rest of the NA squad is pretty much in spawn. It's just High Five that's over the point, trying to block in, just bring himself to maybe die if he needs to, but he's still alive, putting some damage onto the medic and scout combo. The EU squad, they got so much space, but they're unable to collect this cap. Mac will fall late, and it's only the Witness Gaming NA soldiers that have sacrificed themselves. Bransam gonna fall low, eventually clean up by the Thunder Thomas, but he will give up his life for that kill. So Witness Gaming EU, they got in pretty early, but unable to clean up the round.
Yeah, like they couldn't find the frags, they couldn't get the cap time. Like Artis just kept his stickies, right? Like just basically sat them there. No one could really move them from point. So, you know, no frags, no cap time. There wasn't really much you could do. We now do see RGLgg with the Uber, going to be getting bombed immediately. 1 rocket. Oh, second one, not quite hitting today. Hugo keeping uncharacteristically. This will be NA keeping hold of second. They should be looking to possibly keep on moving. Domo's already 90 though. This is going to be hard. They're basically going to have as they walk through this door. So they actually, and they might bait themselves in a little bit. They decide to go, which they do.
Might just be an exchange. They do have the 1 pick to work off of, but I think they realize that, yeah, it's a bit too late. They've already wasted enough time to allow Hugo to spawn. So even Uber scenario, and now the ball is going to be in Witness Gaming EU's court to try to break this upcoming stalemate. Going to be the first real stalemate of the game. We've had a whole lot of back and forth, which is much more than I initially expected, given the ping situation. I thought we'd see one of the team's favor of like a stalemate with Sniper. We do see a double bomb come from the NA squad, trying to stuff the door preemptively, getting the damage onto Hugo to make sure that sack's unsuccessful, but they do able to clean him up. Opti going in to make sure that Ash does fall, but he will give up his life for it as well, so no soldiers for the side of the EU gang. With the limited amount of spam that's there, Mac, despite being the only spam that's there, he's able to kill Branson pretty easily. Immediately, Uber exchange coming in, damage to RGLgg. They are going to flash up, and this EU Uber is so much better and longer. A little bit more damage on a High Five. The will back up. They recognize that they do have to pace themselves a tiny bit. They don't have their soldiers quite yet. They're able to make a flank the side of the NA squad, able to get Yeehaw and Tommaso. No scouts on the field. Mac left alone on the train will eventually fall, and the Dome End dead in the grave. The EU squad in shambles have to back up. Only 3 left alive, no scouts. That's going to be a free mid if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, absolutely. These soldiers, they're going to try just a little bit. They've got to keep Domo beaming and just ultimately, yeah, they're going to have no business staying here.
Opti!
Opti stays too late as well. That's going to be really not looking too good now. There's still going to be a player down, and they can look to keep on walking if they want it here. It's going to be only about a 50% advantage, so really any little advantage is going to be all the better to play with right now.
And looks like it might be a dry. Have to manage through the traps. The Det will not find any damage onto Bransam nor Ash, who's bombing and creating space, actually landing almost on Mac. Arrow coming in. Hugo bombed in, and the pre-60 damage onto RGLgg, plus the Hugo Rock able to clean up that frag. Last trying to distract, but unable to find too much there. So immediately, Witness Gaming not in, lost the medic, have to immediately back up to mid. And the EU squad have held on to 2 for now, and they have the Uber to make sure it's more than just that and to retake mid.
Yeah, I think so much of that came down to the spam towards grass. Like, Hugo got in, yep, he got his rocket, but he only needed 1 rocket. Like, the spam was already there. That's so important in those situations. Now, EU's going to be happy. They've got the Ruber, they've got their players just keeping everyone alive, as buffed up as possible. It's going to be theirs. They can try and take second for free. That's going to be the absolute dream, but they can see.
Oh, yeah. The surf, not quite good enough. Able to get some damage, but not enough to make sure that Laz is unable to get that force, so single 1-man, gonna work out. So only giving up Laz. The rest of the NA squad posted up at last. There is a small opening where they could go through, and it looked like they're looking for it. Hugo bombing in, on a RGLgg, surfed up, gonna be able to maybe land on him with the last rocket. Able to clean up that frag, the solo frag working in their favor. So, oh, they actually, never mind, they lost Mac, didn't notice that. So I guess it's a 2-man technically, so they can't push immediately, you have to wait for Dome and spawn. So still a success, but just not by the margins that you would initially expect.
Yeah, I definitely feel like RGLgg might be feeling the ping a little bit. Like, some of these surfs, you know, that basically going straight up there. It's, you know, sometimes it's just unfortunate it happens, but it did look like
Branson
the
alone.
timing wasn't quite working. Yeah, no, this is just kind of Yeehaw's thing, you know. If you're peeking, if you're prodding, he'll just find you. He'll just two-shot you. He doesn't care.
And we can have the rest of the team coming through Shutter for the side of U Squad, immediately on the gun, bombing through, getting over the point, not locking down the Shutters, able to allow Artist to walk his way through. But the other Shutter, they have that under lockdown. KookyJake immediately falling. Mac over gets life for it though. Hugo and Ash falling as well, giving up the soldiers. So no heals with the NA squad. They have to play really fast, bombing on Tomas, getting a lot of damage on him. Trying to clean up the Stillman frag. Artist at half HP, will not fall quite yet. Bomb from Opti, Domo getting on the point with that Yeehaw. Brandsep getting on the point, but will fall to Opti, who is able to collect that frag. So after all is said and done, a 9-minute round in the first round going to the side of Witness Gaming EU.
Oh, that was so close as well. Like, NA almost held on to that. I think there was like 2 or 3 times where like EU was like, we're getting Artists. We're just gonna bomb, we're gonna run a scout, we're gonna do whatever. And every time lived on like 20 HP. That's super, super clutch. But yeah, this is first round gonna be going the way of EU as expected, but it is very back and forth feeling.
Yeah, definitely going to see another mid to see if we're going to see a change of pace. So far, we saw a little bit of spam and then immediately send off. And off the bat, Laz bombing in. Don't want him to find a nice surf. Another rocket onto him, making sure he's good, as well as Mac too. Only giving up one. Ash still alive, trying to clean up Hugo. Is the side of Brandslam, who's just in the thick of it. Yeehaw and Opti on the chase as well. Tomas is finding KookyJake alone. Brandslam running it back to him. KookyJake at 25 HP, trying to get the pistol on him, and it will clean up that frag. Brandslam very low, gonna get the second one as well. He taunts because he knows he's safe. Ash unable to find the frag quite yet. And Tomas, he's able to get those 2 key frags. He wants more. Chases behind. Oh, not able to quite find Laz, but well, he might go for him, depending on the situation. He's 2 soldiers, has the ping advantage, but it might be too daunting of a task. One nice rocket on Ash, dropping to 16 HP, but high five, he's there. They're going to make this 2v1 if they are smart about it. Actually, it's 1v1 at least for now, but they're bringing back the whole squad. They are eventually able to find him, but that's just more time bought. There is no mid-fight V2. Witness Gaming EU, they found enough success to make sure that this mid capture is theirs.
It is going to be. We already have a player, literally already towards kitchen.
Oh, Laz,
rocket,
in
2
kitchen.
rockets, easy.
Unseen, able to get through. Gonna give up both their soldiers, the bullet Brandslam, so that's a very large sacrifice. High five, almost getting Yeehaw 3 HP, able to survive, and they are able to get that medic, but at what cost? They have 3 left alive on the side of the second point. The Witness Gaming explosive classes are bombing their way through to get some positioning on 2, but they know that they have this UR advantage. Witness Gaming NA. All they gotta do is wait for the respawners. They can start to poke and prod out to last, but starting to get into territory where backcaps might be threatened. So we'll have to see how Witness Gaming EU sets up for the eventual disad positioning.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty happy right now. Like, to be honest, getting mid was guaranteed. Getting second was, like, you know, already pretty good. We do see Uber now. The repush, yeah, they're going to be jumping deep from back, really catching nothing at all. We do have 2 towards the flank. Yep, Yeehaw's already walking all the way in. Opti's with him as well. Ash getting absolutely nuked, but...
Oh, KookyJake alone. And Artist, they've been left alone. No one else went back, or at least they didn't go back, but Artist just surfed back, just barely living, and Domo gonna clean up by the side of Laz as well as Mac. The beginning was pretty fine, but it seems like it's just Tomas left alive and gonna get a little damage onto high five, but 1v4. Going to be too tall of a task to take on, and Witness Gaming NA, they're able to, heat of the moment, just change things up and make sure they have all their bases covered, even in a sketchy scenario where they literally left Arts and KookyJake alone, but still found their footing to make sure that neither falls. So now, with a retake of mid and a nice 50% Uber, they're looking in a pretty good spot to try to push into 2, but not if Yeehaw has anything to say about it.
No, we are going to be seeing Yeehaw playing all this far left position towards balcony. Pretty annoying. Should be spotted fairly early as they walk through, but very easy to make a mistake and not quite see him in that position. Yep, Uber's just now in the hands of KookyJake, so we'll see exactly what they want to do. Yep, Uber's going to get used all the way in. Artist does get a little bit denied on his bomb. Does try and catch some of these players towards Bobby. Some good damage. Will combine to take down Hugo as well. Nicely done.
Oh, a nice pick, though.
Weak. But yeah, no, losing Artist. That's actually going to make this really sad because I was already on about 75%. They can't really even look to go into last now on the side of NA. That option's not really there. They have to just kind of chill.
Yeah, they can't afford to try. If you lose 1 to try to go for that 4, sure, definitely going to lose 2 for sure. And with the minimal amount of explosive class. Immediately, Tomas going through. He knows there's no 6 because Artist isn't quite there yet. Ash trying to salvage and get some damage on a Domo, but it's going to be Laz popping Domo up in the air, able to make sure that force happens. They've given a lot for it, though. High Vibe getting weak, as well as the rest of the team. Back up through lower. Mac jumping in, getting a pipe on a KookyJake, as well as Brandsam. He's in the thick of it, almost dying for it, but will survive at the end of the day. So They're able to get this force, but they had to give up 2 soldiers for it, which means the EU squad, they have an opening despite the disad to go ahead and start drying immediately through lower, jumping in, getting onto Artist. Hugo immediately stalled in the air, bombed, completely stopped, and RGLgg. It's not too much longer till they have the Uber, and I think the Witness Gaming EU side knows this. Still have Yeehaw in the thick of it, able to clean up Ash, but will give up his life for it, so not really going to have too much of a flank here realistically, in the side of Witness Gaming NA are working their way through lower to try to use a 30% advantage.
Yeah, like really their dream is just to try and spam them out, just try and take second for free, play it pretty equal. We do see nice little bomb from Artist there. There's just enough to force Mac away, and yeah, second's going to be fully within their control, and they'll know. This is going to be Domo getting his Uber now, so pretty nice situation there. They had to be fast taking second. They did exactly what they needed to do. Now they can see how exactly they want to crack this a little bit. Currently, on the side of EU, they are playing pretty far back. They don't have anything like a gun or anything. They haven't had time to set up. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's 2 in, actually.
Oh yeah, 2-man, 5-5 going in and make sure Tomas is dead, so just a normal 2-man, no gun, so immediately able to get their way through, but only finding the 1 frag. I guess Mac got pretty low, so that was almost 2, but not quite. He will get healed up and be A-okay, and side of Witness Gaming EU, I mean, they have some room to counterattack. They are 1 dead, though, so they have to be fast. Hugo going in for a bomb, trying to land on RGLgg. Actually, Artist instead. Damage spread onto both of them. They do able to get Artist getting the kill on the Mac, extended just a little bit, able to die there. So immediately, that's an unexpected 2-man from the side of the EU squad and NA. They have some wiggle room to try to get a force onto the EU squad holding these doors.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really hard. You can see they're trying to play forward to take some kind of trade if anyone walks in, but it's going to be both soldiers jumping all the way in. Opti's trying to make the very best out of this. He's going to be forcing off RGLgg. Yeehaw getting a frag towards the flank as well. Uber is just about fading now. Opti is on these back lines. He's basically going to be doing nothing. He's going to get cleaned up. Still, how does he manage to get that? Then Yeehaw just walks in, takes down Artist, and now suddenly NA, they're looking scary. They spotted the soldier on lower as well. Tomas just living on like 0 HP right now, and this should just be EU completely taking control of this position.
Oh, Brainstorm almost caught it, is able to snake his way out, so they are able to cap this. Both teams are having some players roll out, so I feel like we're gonna be ending up in another standstill. I don't think any team is really gonna want to push per se, so another stalemate, just on a little bit of a different point this time. Actually, I think we've had 1 stalemate here at this point, right? I think just 1.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, but well, it is going to be different because NA is going to have the ball in their court this time, because I think last time they were on their own too, so going to be pretty much even. This 10% is not going to be used by the EU squad, so NA trying to poke some doors, looking through the window to see what they can see and what looks easier to execute. They do have to be worried about these stickies here. I don't know if they quite know they exist, but you know, they're kind of being careful about it, just trying to get some spam onto the EU squad, trying to bring some people over, at least make some space for Ash to bomb in and make some room. Laz at the window, tried to bomb through but missed his rocket, gonna be unable to execute that properly and gonna have to go back to square one to try to figure out how they want to break through into this hold. Ash taking the reins, bombing in on a Domo, 1 rocket, but not quite enough life to make sure a second one gets off. So that's their sack. Gonna find a little bit of damage, but not a whole lot. Yeehaw immediately making space and saw on the EU squad. It's their move.
Yeah, this is all about taking just a little bit of position, trying to get a little bit of spam and just seeing what angles have we got to play. Hugo thinks he can just jump all the way in, gets pretty denied, gets basically no damage at all. We do see, oh, that's huge combined damage. Both the EU soldiers just get basically 1 shot there. That is actually such a fantastic position for NA now. There's so much on the shoulders of Mac to try and keep spamming towards lower. You can see the soldiers going to be forcing them in, playing on these backlines. Uber has to get used on the side of EU. They're going to be trying to force these out, but there's so many players behind them. There's players in front, there's players behind us, and Uber they still got to worry about. Even getting these frags is basically not really going to matter too much.
Yeehaw's collected 2 kills, though. And Max just jumping in, straight into RGLgg. They're going for 2-man. He's able to barely get out. Oh no, he's jumping in a window, but so it's kind of awkward. But yeah, he's still technically alive. The NA squad running forward. They do have Dory out, 2 people behind, one of them being a demo man, which makes things extremely interesting. Immediately bombing in, EU squad jumping in onto the NA squad, trying to cap the rest of the point. Brainstem will eventually fall. Now the people running in through ground. RGLgg will finally fall. A lot of damage onto both the EU squad members, though, inside each other's models, but not quite enough players left alive to make sure that damage to clean up. Just High Five and Laz. High Five, who was respawning, and I think Laz as well, so makes sense that with the player advantage here, playing on their own territory, the EU squad able to make sure that this mid cap is theirs, as well as an Uber had to boot for the second point.
Yeah, I love that, like, you know, you going for just that little bit of like a chaos kind of play. You know, they knew they were in a bad position, so like, you know what, let's just make this messy. Let's make this messy. Let's just do some weird stuff and just see if we can't find some power in the confusion, which they managed to do exactly. Domo does have his Uber losing Yeehaw right at the start of this push is a little bit sad. They know these NA players are still towards Bout. Taking down Ash does mean they equalize things just a little bit, but they want to play a little bit slower. Domo's trying to keep himself as healthy as physically possible. They want to just walk in and force the rest of these players out without Domo having to use. He actually, I think, walked onto 2 stickies there, but didn't get that on. So yeah, second's going to be theirs. Still like a 35% advantage. Like, they got to go literally right now if they want to be pushing in, though.
Yeah, if they don't wait too much longer, then Cookie Jake's going to be able to get his Uber mid-fight, realistically. They're trying to make some space, trying to walk their way in through the right-hand side. Actually going to be Tomas coming in on the left-hand side, kind of alone immediately. On Cookie Jake, bottom of the air shot onto Cookie Jake. Opti was above him, able to make sure that frag was collected, and that is the blue medic out of the equation. So now, you don't have to worry about an even Uber situation when you're Ubering in now. Domo is fine. He's got his Uber on the own second point. And it looks like the NA squad is just going to chill. Going to go for some off classes, build a gun while they wait for the rest of their team to respawn. EU squad waiting for their people who sacked to go ahead and roll out as they work their way through lower and try to figure out which door is of their liking.
Yeah, you can see them already setting up towards lower. This should be basically, you know, the most picturesque push you could possibly go for. Going to be going all the way towards lower. Good little bit of damage. Stick still towards point. They can be looking for these frags. Cookie Jake does go down, but Mac loses his life as well. Now, not going to be looking good on the side of EU at all. They're just getting collapsed on by the soldiers. Didn't even get the gun down. They basically just, I mean, they got
gun
Cookie Jake. That was
2K.
it.
I guess they just didn't see it. It was behind the tower, so when you go through lower, you can't actually see it. And if you get disconnected, try to immediately play the point, you just don't know of its existence. I guess they didn't really spot on the left-hand side from their perspective, and it just kind of punches them. So the NA squad able to salvage a little bit. They are down a soldier, but that EU squad is down one as well. You might actually see a dry depending on how things go, since the doors aren't locked down, and that's actually what we're seeing right now. Immediately going through Saw, trying to work their way in. Domo taking a little bit of damage. The bomb from Hugo's making some space onto the enemy team's path. They're working their way over towards point. Artist over by the box. Ash flanking in, getting some damage onto the grass area, and Mac's gonna die as well as Yeehaw. So one player advantage for the side of the NA squad is enough to immediately squash this dry push coming from the EU squad.
Yeah, and NA can look to keep on moving as soon as they heal up. They're trying to go towards this choke point. We are seeing them trying to get as much space as possible. That damage towards Hugo is super, super important. He does actually go for that deep bomb now. Going to be getting direct
shot on
Cookie Jake. They're 2 rockets. It's so, so important there now. You can see NA immediately. They're like, we don't have the health. We don't have the buffs. We can't play this long fight. We can't get in quick. That means we just got to back out.
Doorways, the medic's worst nightmare. If a little bit further back and a little bit more forward, he was able to maybe find a way to surf, but his head literally hit the door frame, so going to be a bit unfortunate there. And good timing from the side of the Witness Gaming EU team to make sure they're able to get that medic frags collected. So bit of a deja vu from what we saw a couple minutes ago. Mealy, Uber ready for the EU squad, working their way towards lower, milking a whole lot. Mealy getting out of the gun. Gun will finally fall, as well as Jake unable to get inside the spawn quick enough. So the rest of the team for the NA squad is not going to have heals for the remainder of this fight. A lot of damage onto them, but no kills besides Hugo, and that will be a pure wipe. EU squad air shot onto Ash as a consolation as well. So second round going in favor of Witness Gaming EU.
Yeah, that was so much more what they were looking for in terms of that push. You know, they managed to get the Cookie Jake early. That's fantastic. More importantly, they managed to just get in a position where they forced the players towards the point. You know, the second they took down Artist, it's effectively like a last push kind of one. Then they can suddenly start playing the point and deal with the rest of these, you know, bombing soldiers and such. So EU looking like they're getting into the groove of things. Still just over 8.5 minutes left to go though, so plenty of time for NA to get at least a round here.
And Laz is immediately going in. Oh, misses the rocket. Ash is able to clean up that frag onto Domo to make sure he's collected. They've given up both soldiers though. Mac dropped extremely low, has to wait for a pack. Opti trying to buy some time. Immediately, both scouts from the EU squad are busting through the kitchen, trying to get some damage onto the Hugo bomb, coming in onto Brand Slam. Not a whole lot of kills, but a whole lot of damage. Cookie Jake will finally fall. Left alone. I think they left in different directions. Cookie Jake left all the rest of the team departed through lower, so they are going to have to deal with Yeehaw, who is still behind, but they don't have a medic to help them, so they got to make sure they're able to live. Branson almost falls, but Artist making sure that he saves the day and collects that frag, so there's not another NA death, but losing their medic there can be pretty unfortunate. Domo did die, but early enough to where he does technically have some sort of add to work that's very, very small. But if things start to get scrappy with some sort of dry fight that happens, you might see that come into play. But at the end of the day, for now, it appears that despite the later medic death, it is going to be a cap from the side of the NA squad. But the EU squad, they're poking around through Saw. They're thinking about busting through if it looks good enough. But with these tickets from Artist, he just layered them all over the correct door that they decided to go through. So a little bit of some good RNG there, and a good door locking down choice to make sure that mid is 100% secured in NA's favor.
Yeah, definitely. You felt like EU, they you know, they wanted to see whether they had any business just playing with that like slightly earlier heals in form of Domo's slightly faster spawn, but no, not really going to happen. Does look like they can be doing this dot push though. Mac's a little bit slow. He's going to be jumping all the way out. He tries to do some fancy hops, not quite hitting it, so no player's going to get caught here at all. Oh, no, I take it back. Hugo is going to be picking up one, but not the all-important medic frag, because Jake's going to have his own Uber now, and they're going to be looking to repush immediately. Here we go. Artist is trying to make it happen.
Oh, he got
Opti gets sent to the skybox. What?
They are able to get Yeehaw, which is something. Opti is behind High Fives fighting him. They get Tomas as well, so no scouts. Not going to be any scout speed to work with for eventual dry push. But Opti is still alive, buying a little bit of time, will eventually fall. They are able to, actually, they don't even need to block spawns because it's their point. They never continued to complete the cap for the EU squad, so the NA squad immediately bombing in and taking two pretty much for free after all these kills they've collected. So it's going to be pretty, well, I guess it's not really even. I guess technically they could dot push once again, but dot pushing on this point, at a last, on the Snakewater 2, I would be surprised to see that as something that would actually happen.
I feel like that would be levels of optimism previously unheard of. You know, Snake is already not a nice last to push out of, let alone, you know, when you're doing off a 12% advantage or something. So, yeah, EU, they're going to be chilling right now. They have got a sniper, no other defensive off class, so it's going to be all on whether Tomas hits these all-important shots, and the second he takes that first shot, it is going to be NA fully aware of it, so playing to not get taken down here. We do see soldiers jumped in. Ooh,
nice clean
very nearly on the siege.
Oh, it's a 3-man.
It is, yeah. Just getting crushed, apparently.
Yeah, tried to play risky to, oh, we're bringing enough firepower. Surely we'll be able to collect enough frags to prevent this push from happening, but no, unable to find really any. They are stuffing this really well. What is happening? They're just literally, they have it's a 3v6 right now, and it looks like the NA team is somehow salvaging at least a small amount. Brainstem will eventually maybe die. No, he's snaking his way around, brings people back. He's buying some time for his respawners. He's still alive.
What?
He's living out. All right, that's probably the best salvage that I've seen so far in this show match. That was unstoppable odds there from the NA squad.
Nuts.
They somehow managed. So now we're kind of back to square one, I guess. We're seeing a dry right at the bat. Full soldiers bombing through over to the right-hand side, trying to bring Opti over. A nice headshot on RGLgg, immediately eliminating the heals out of the equation, so they have to play this fast for the NA squad, but melted. You don't even need a gun for that. So just High Five left alive in the spawn area. Some damage onto Hugo and Yeehaw, but it's 1 versus 5. This is not something that you expect to win, and he will not collect an exit frag up with his death. So a nice salvage from NA, but falling flat, the EU squad able to hold on at least a little bit longer and retake second for themselves.
Yeah, it definitely feels like NA felt very, very pressured to try and use any opportunity, even if that opportunity was just, you know, not having to deal with an Uber and a gun and stuff, you know. They gave it a go. It wasn't quite going to happen today. Now they're going to find themselves with disadvantage. Domo is going to get forced off here, so they look like, actually, they're not even going to deal with that soldier just yet. It's going to be all the way towards the back lines. Uber used to get positioned towards middle point. Jake's still nowhere near the Uber, so if they did want to block, it would be basically solo, and it's not going to happen just yet. They don't look like they want to peek, though.
Yeah, they're starting to work their way through. Laz called that 2 people were chasing them, so they're trying to dry this just off that, but I think it's a little bit too late. They're able to get 1, but have to give up both scouts for it. Gonna be unfortunate, as well as Ash still on sniper with this dry. Gonna go ahead and give up his life because he knows he's gonna be pretty useless on the second point to make sure that his medic can get out. Artist gonna be able to collect the frag on Hugo, but he knows he's dead. At least, oh, the nice arrow. Gonna live at least a little bit longer, but will die to fall damage. Oh, Laz bombing in. He's been behind this whole time, but only getting a little bit of damage onto Domo and will not be able to clean up that frag. So they had an opening, but unable to execute. And when this gaming, you hold strong, and they're in a pretty good spot to try drawing this with Artist dead.
Yeah, they want to try and get through this doorway. Losing Opti, though, they basically just immediately cancel. They're feeling zero pressure to throw any type of advantage away. They're just chilling. And this is 3.5 minutes, you know. At this point, NA basically, they have no choice but to go in. They're doing exactly that all the way through lower. The Uber use is so much later for the side of EU. We do see Ash trying to go behind, trying to be a little bit annoying. It's actually a little bit unfortunate here that they have Hugo on Spy. He's not going to be doing much, but could potentially go for a backup. They can just keep on fighting here. No, he's going to get taken down. And actually, just the chaos play from NA, they're kind of just crushing some of these players now.
Only 2 left alive, just Opti and Mac versus the 3, and they have heals as well. Opti trying to bomb in and get some damage with his last breath, but only damage is what he'll find. No kills collected. The NA squad, that's pretty good drive push timing, especially with there being a spy, so I'm sure they didn't know, but definitely works out in their favor, and able to clap the second point off. Not too much time left. We're at under 3 minutes here, so it's going to be hard pressed to type the game, but they can maybe get one more round if the NA squad tries hard enough. Same with the EU. Could they lead this to a 3-0? They're starting to drive through, immediately dropping out a window, cleaning up high five with 2 shots, putting themselves in the grass area for this 5v6 scenario. Hugo bombing in to create some space, getting some damage onto Ash as well as Artis. Laz giving up his life to get some damage over onto the grass area and get some space for the rest of the team to move forward, but Artis will fall. Yeehaw and Tomas making sure those kills are immediately cleaned up. Opti bombing in very, very late to make sure there's so much damage on Cookie Jake, almost falling, able to use his Uber at the last second, but this Uber, it's kind of scuffed. It's not really going to find too much. There is a soul that maybe they could find. Hugo jumping in last to try to make sure that his team is able to survive, and he's going to give up his life to make sure that they do just that. Witness Gaming EU squad, they're sitting fine. Bransam knows he has to make some sort of play here, running immediately through lower to buy some time for his team to be Nooses, trying to 1v1 a soldier that's rolling out, immediately cleaning up Opti. Last creating some space as well, just chaos all around. They do have to make sure that Domo is cleaned up and they don't want to get Ubered on immediately. Ash, one last rocket, unable to find it. They are able to clean him up though, but the back they've unable to make sure all their doors are covered with how much they were going behind and going aggressive right off the bat. And that one door unwatched means that another round goes in favor of Witness Gaming EU.
Oh, that's so sad. You can see how hard they were trying. They were just like anything. Any little opportunity, try and go behind, try and push a guy through lower, peek and prod and take space and do anything. And it just comes down to the back cap, so yeah, that's going to be 3-0, 1 minute 15 left on the clock, so, you know, the game, that's all done and dusted, but there's time to make some plays. We do see Laz going in, not quite hitting the air shot towards Mac, getting him pretty weak though. 18 HP, just about surviving. We do see the heavy to mid on the side of Hugo, playing with, of course, you know, the European gimmicks. Absolutely crushing these players, but Arta's still keeping a name for himself with these 140 ping pipes.
Yep, high five. The sole survivor here, 1v3, probably going to be difficult here. I mean, maybe he can find a random kill on someone rolling out. Maybe you can find something. Realistically, I think, I don't know, technically maybe EU could cap, but they would have to, like, wipe the floor and with the NA squad, which I don't think will happen per se, because they do have some players respawning and able to make 2 a little bit, you know, difficult to take. So it is likely we're going to see a 3-0 here and be entering dead time with the 2 kills just collected, 1 from Brand Slam and 1 from High Five. Yeah, that's going to be it. It's going to be a 3-0. High Five collected, and that will be pretty much it. They're going to have one last scrappy fight happening on the middle point. Laz hiding in the corner, just trying to work his way around and maybe get a forced last second damage on Odomo. All able to get that force to the Uber. They probably wanted to use that anyway, immediately chasing through the slot here, trying to pad their stats and collect any last frag they can. Maybe a demo man kill if they're lucky enough, but no, Artist able to make sure that Yeehaw is clean up at the very last second. But at the end of the day, it is a 3-0 in Witness Gaming EU's favor.
Yeah, I feel like kind of expected, you know, little bit tragic that Mac at the end, he went for his demo night loadout, not quite getting the frag, so, you know, unlucky. At least he went for it. He gave it a go, but
yeah, can't get the sword kill on your logs. Unfortunate.
No, exactly. But yeah, I feel like that was kind of partially, you know, to be expected in terms of results. But like, I feel like NA definitely had some, you know, some absolutely solid plays, some solid repushes in there, some solid holds as well. So even though it was a 3-0, it did feel a lot more back and forth than that to me. And I'm definitely, you know, I always feel like it's really fun playing these kind of show matches because, you know, when you play on the enemies like server for the first map, I feel like in the second map you always get that far a little bit. You know, if you lose, like, okay, now we're gonna be on like our server on our terms. You know, now to kind of show off a little bit and see exactly how hard you can crush them.
Yep, it's always true. We do have the logs on the screen right now. I would take a little bit of a peek at who was really popping off, and surprisingly, it's Artist that's leading the damage chart, which I didn't necessarily expect, but I guess you can kind of make the statement that, like, if your team's like in a losing position, then as a demo man, people running into your rollers and your traps is always going to be nice, regardless of whatever ping you have. So he's definitely popping off, but we do see somewhat a pretty good single-digit deaths. You know, pretty good stat line if you're a medic player.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think, yeah, like there were some really key moments for Artist. Specifically, I want to say about that. There was that push out towards second for the EU side where like Artist, I think, probably did about 500 damage with like just a couple projectiles. Like I think one pipe hit like 3 people, then like a couple stickies hit like all 3 as well, and just basically like made it was a 3 versus 6 position with equal Ubers. Like it made that situation so much more realistic for them to play. Like they didn't actually end up benefiting hugely from it, but it was like basically the only way they stood any chance there, and it was undoubtedly absolutely huge considering, you know, the whole ridiculous ping.
Yeah. And then after that too, somehow Branslam just sneaks his way around post Uber to like, try to survive, which it definitely made that much more playable. But he still held strong after that moment as well. They made sure that despite all the things that happened with all the damage they took in lobby and failing to kill Branslam, that when the dry push happened, they stuffed that really hard. That was a full wipe. It looked like they melted pushing in the last, and there wasn't even a sentry gun for the last holds. That's something that you normally see from the NA squad trying to break Snakewater last holds in the matches they play. Is they'll run in and then there's a gun. Okay, two people are immediately dead. Unfortunate, but it's same thing, but without the auto aimbot on your squad. So pretty impressive from both sides, and I'm excited to see what's going to be happening on the side of Sunshine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is this? So we're doing Sunshine next, and then is it process for our third? Are we still doing the third with like the mixed rosters?
I think so. I think there's a predetermined mix of the rosters for process. So
Ooh, that's gonna be pretty interesting. Yeah, see, this is it's like every map you get to have your bit of fun. You know, EU gets to show off a bit, NA gets to show off a bit, and then seeing those mixer players, you know, playing with each other for, you know, very possibly the first time ever. That's gonna be pretty fun.
yeah, put to the test to try to can't rely on like, oh, we've been playing for a season, we got the coordination now. You put with a couple newer players, you have to kind of make stuff up on the fly. It's going to be really interesting to see, especially at such a high level. So moving over, we do have info for the NA server, so that's going to be what we're changing to for Sunshine. I guess while we're waiting for everyone to go ahead and get together, we can take a minute to talk about why we're here. That this is a fundraiser for the NA squad to go to Copenhagen Games in April. They have a Indiegogo that you can go ahead and donate to. I'm sure someone will spam it in the chat. And if this is a YouTube VOD, then there's probably going to be in the description as well, wherever you're watching this from. But you can get an idea of what's up with there's different perks that you can get, different milestones. We've already reached a couple milestones. This was a milestone in itself. I think it was maybe like the 1.5 or 2K milestone to go ahead and do this show match maybe. But there's some others that we can hit, and some individual prizes that you can get as a donator. There's jerseys, there's a raffle, there's credits for the eventual frag preview that will be released of the Copenhagen Games clips. It'll of course happen after the LAN itself. So a lot of interesting things to receive if you donate, and you can all find that on the Indiegogo page.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you go to the to any of the last two Copenhagen's, Jarrett?
I have not. The only LAN that I've had the pleasure of going to is Rewind 2, and that was always fun. So it'll be interesting to see. Always interesting to see LAN environments, especially after the past couple years. It's going to be nice to finally have another setting where it's NA versus EU, which it's always a treat and can be difficult to pull off at times. So it's
Oh yeah,
definitely very important to make sure that we can keep that tradition back alive and going in some capacity.
yeah, absolutely. Like I had the absolute pleasure of casting at the 2019 Copenhagen Games, and I genuinely I cannot overstate how fantastic an event that is. It is such a pure TF2 experience, and I know all the Copenhagen Games guys, they absolutely love TF2. So many of the organizers were sat there in the crowd watching the grand finals, knowing nothing about TF2, but absolutely loving every part of it. So the idea of having that, it's our first LAN in like a couple of years because of the whole situation. The idea of it being intercontinental at Copenhagen Games, to me, is just it's just going to be the most incredible thing.
Yep. We do have everyone in the server. I think they're messing with the CFG a little bit to make sure it's all said and done. Got to make sure the server's all set up because you are switching servers in its entirety, so you got to make sure whitelists and we're playing on the EU rule set and not like an NA rule set or anything like that. Make sure everything's all said and done. But let's talk about the switch up. You do have a different map, so a little bit of a different geometry and playstyle to work with, as well as going to be switching who has the low pings this time as well. So you might see a little bit of different people going for different types of playstyles in terms of how confident they can feel on their new ping to do certain things, or maybe holding back on not doing particular things because you don't think it'll work that well.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking on the EU side. It seems a little bit more consistent. Pretty much all hovering on about 100. No one's going towards that terrifying 140 mark. I think Opti's just left us over a second. Oh no, sorry, he's just back. I think he was actually sitting on around 90. I think he was like 85 at one point. Sometimes these French players can get some nutty ping to the old New York ones. But yeah, definitely much healthier on the NA side. I really want to see, like, I don't know, if your boy Artis can do like 350 DPM on like 140 ping, I want to I feel like he might just kind of terrorize this a little bit, put some players in their place. But yeah, I feel like it's not going to be insanely bad for the EU side. That being said, I will say, I do not envy NA players when it comes to dealing with ping. In Europe, if you have like 15 ping higher than you're used to, if you have like 35, people are like, wow, this is awful, this sucks. Whereas on NA, people were just like consistently just dealing with like 80, 90, 100 just because just of how big the US is.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the time people are kind of used to the Chicago service because it's somewhat centralized, but there is, if you're for a West Coast player, it can be a bit difficult. I can only imagine. I don't think anyone is on the West Coast for the NA squad. I think every single person, including the ringers, are all East Coasters, which means they had a little bit of an okay time over on the EU server. And for the NA side, it's going to be pretty fine. Got 20s and 30s and 40s, which is much better than you would normally get to Chicago, at least depending on the player. But we are going live, so don't have to wait too much longer to see what Sunshine has in store for us. Both teams rolling out going into the first mid.
Yeah, should be looking pretty good. Second map here of our big fundraiser here for the NA side, making sure they get to all important Copenhagen games. We do see Laz jumping in super deep all the way towards this flank now as well. This is now going to be a bit of a timing game for the EU side. Can they get forward in time to prevent this soldier from just kind of pincering them? They're going all the way towards the left-hand side. We do see soldiers jumping on in. The quickie bombs on Mac, and we get the first and second frags. Opti with a follow-up as well. This is just a huge amount of damage. Domo's actually a little bit caught by himself, but ultimately, yeah, this is a chase which just really can't happen now for Laz.
Yeah, sole survivor here. RGLgg did eventually fall, so last House of Salvage getting some damage on Hugo. Is able to get the frag. 2 melee kills back to back. And that is going to be a little bit of a consolation, but at the end of the day, seems like for the most part, one mid for the side of the EU squad. They do have only 2 people left alive, so maybe NA could poke around, but I think, actually no. RGLgg was such a late spawn, and this Uber is actually coming into the equation right now, so probably not going to contest that at all. Just let the EU squad have it, and they're moving towards Cafe to try to take 2 as well.
Yeah, looking, as always, trying to go towards this left-hand side, see if they can walk in for free, but this is going to be a lot of damage. These soldiers doing oh so much. Mac does get the first juggle towards RGLgg, who's so weak. The follow-up is coming in now. Yep, Tamas and Yeehor absolutely crushing these players, and now EU's looking very happy on this high ground once again. Laz on the back lines. Oh, Ash and Brandsam, though, doing a lot of work right now. This is turning just a little bit scrappy, but this late flanking soldier should be doing just enough right now.
Kind of a reverse scenario now. It's just Opti left alive versus 3 of the side of Witness Gaming. They have some respawners too. He was able to find Artist, though. I think he kind of faked him out, thought he was leaving, and then just kind of ran up to chase him, accidentally met him. So it's going to be a very late Doman death. It's kind of unfortunate for the side of the NA squad. They are able to retake 2, but it means that the EU squad, they have an opening to try to go ahead and dry this, and they're doing that now. Immediately through the choke, trying to work their way through onto Laz. A lot of damage on him, immediately melting damage onto Tomas and Yihio, though no scouts on the field of the EU squad. That's going to immediately mark their return back to the middle point.
Yeah, we're seeing Hugo desperately try and make up for the difference in ping by using the direct hit, and I mean, he's hit 1 shot so far, but not having that consistent damage output really going to be something which is going to start to hurt them in the long run. This is going to be NA happy taking this mid. Ooh, just about not denying these spawners, so won't be able to just walk in completely for free yet.
Might have to wait for the Uber. Do have a heavy on the field. He's in the spawn door, so if they go Cafe and kind of milk this, or even just take it slow in general and go up and walk up plat, then might be a bit of an issue there to deal with. But it is going to be even, so I can only imagine he'll probably eventually swap off, because there is not an actual push that's coming. But who knows, maybe he'll just sit on it. I don't know. He is kind of showing himself now, so they do see the heavy is in there, but taking some damage, getting spammed up a little bit, and the NA squad, they're poking through Valley, trying to at least bring some eyes over there for Laz. Maybe bomb throws is able to eat up the pack. The bomb starting, immediately sending himself up into the skybox, trying to land on the demo inside the area of the point, and immediately dropping, as well as Mac falling. I guess they thought they were confident, but RGLgg dropping as well. What is it?
My God,
I guess that's customary. Hugo falling, only 2 left alive for the side of the EU squad. Tomas falling, and yeah, that's a complete wipe for the EU squad, but RGLgg falling as well. I didn't expect the double drop to be happening so early.
Oh, it's a classic little +4. Now Mac has a lot on his shoulders. He's got the quickies, he's got the faster death time, but he doesn't have the health. Ransom just absolutely annihilates him, and as for the follow-up, that's going to be NA getting that first round in pretty quick 4 minutes here. So yeah, even in all that carnage, it was NA getting the better end of that situation.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they was it. That's what they're expecting, a double drop, but they're able to make it work. So the EU squad are gonna have to do a little bit of catch up here. Going into the second mid, we'll see how this kind of paces out. Have both Domen arriving, actually one through the choke and one through Valley. So ours with a small health disadvantage here, but able to equal. Oh, actually no, he's saving his stickies, not using it on the map, but actually slowing down the enemy team. Immediately Hugo bombing into crazy space, landing on other team's cafe. Jumping in, landing on ours, damage onto him, drop very low, and Opti able to clean up the frag as well as one onto Brand Slam. So immediately, the NA team just falling, and they try to get on a Dumbo, but only a little bit of damage from this idolized and Ash, and not able to quite clean him up. High five on the chase, damage from Hugo, not quite enough to make sure anyone on the side of the EU squad will fall though.
Yeah, that was just fantastic coordinated aggression on the side of EU. Like, just Opti's bomb was so huge. Like, the damage was so well synced with the rest of his team. Those frags are going to be so important. The second you get that kind of opening on a mid, it's really just kind of salvage or nothing for NA. They didn't even get that. Now, EU still capping second. They're already walking towards the left-hand side. They have this Uber to use whenever they want. They managed to take down the gun. They still haven't used forcing all these players towards spawn. Eventually, they will get forced off. But look, they have all of NA just sitting in spawn. There's basically nothing they can do. Oh, and
so they were going to restart because of the STV lag, and they were going to time it as soon as the round was over, and then I think someone hit their enter key too early.
Oh no.
So that is a round for the EU squad to tie it up 1-1, but they just reset it too quick, unfortunately. But we are going to be switching servers because there's some like intermittent lag that's really weird. It's not for the players at all. That's why it's taken this long. The players are totally fine. It's just a weird STV issue, which we're not really sure about, but we're going to go ahead and switch servers anyway so we can get the actual viewing experience of the show match still underway. And I guess we'll just say for fair's sake, that was a 1-1. That was
yeah. I feel like, you know, it was gonna happen, you know. If TF2 wasn't, you know, just I don't, sometimes TF2 does TF2 stuff, you know. STV, I don't understand. I don't none of it makes any sense. There was this one, I don't know if you saw this, Jarrett. There was this one bug like maybe a couple months ago where just like it was like 1 in 20 stickies that a demo would fire on an STV would be the opposite team's color and would just show as like being a crits. I was like,
oh yeah, I've definitely seen plenty of that.
Like,
yeah, that's even like a rare.
What bug is that?
That's like a rare bug that you see even when you're playing Doman itself. You'll just like see a random sticky and it's like, that's not my color. What? I'm a blue demo. Why'd I shoot a red one? But even seeing it in STV and at a much higher rate, that's like a once a season type deal. They're like, oh, here's the wrong color sticky. But yeah, that's really weird to see that happen at such a high rate. So yeah, sometimes stuff just happens.
You know, it's a TF2. I feel like if you're still playing TF2 and you expect it to work 100% of the time, like I don't know what to say, man. The game has been out for, I don't know, 11, 12, how many years it is. It's always going to be the wonderful little problem child that it is.
Yep, that's why we love it so much. But I'm gonna have everyone rejoin in the server here. Just new info, so it shouldn't take too long. Everyone was here when we reset, so I'm not sure how, like, what they'll set the time to, the time limit. I don't know if they'll reset it to 30, or they'll just tick off like 5 or 10 minutes. But I mean, either way, we'll still have a sunshine game on our hands, and I mean, have it 1-1 even game. So I'm curious to see. I guess we technically have a quote unquote halftime where you actually stop and can talk about what was happening if you want to make some adjustments. I know NA squad was having some rough mids, so they might want to change some stuff off. Seeing this as an NA server, it's kind of interesting to see them like falter on the mids right off the bat on something of sunshine of all things, where it's like it's kind of easier to have your soldiers have a bit of a easy time to like getting their jumps off and doing fakes and finding some finding a foothold on what's just such a scout dominant map a whole lot of time. But it's like you said before, I think Yeehaw was just kind of running forward and cleaning up house, and might try to do the same if they don't stop him.
Yeah, I guess as well, like, you know, the ping difference is significant, and it comes down to there'll be a lot of individual situations where ping will, you know, make the difference. People will be on projectiles aiming a little bit differently just because, you know, there is just that 90-second delay or whatever. But when it comes to like coordination times in terms of bombs and moving forward together, like that's still going to be the exact same. All of that coordination is still going to be there. The exact execution of like the minute details of aiming might be slightly different. You know, the coordinated like moving forward is still going to be the same. And that, at least on the last mid, that was basically what EU absolutely had nailed. So Definitely feel like NA having a couple minutes just to take a breather and be like, okay, let's not let that happen again. Because, you absolutely don't want to lose your own region's server choice, That is, that's going to be some egos bruised.
Yeah, the only thing you do is blame the map, and you don't want to go there. Because there you can't. I mean, there's only so long that you can blame a map. You're like, why are you blaming the map? You've had like years to play it. What don't you get? So it's not necessarily a go-to excuse that a whole lot of players are going to want to gun to. But we are at the under 30-second mark, and that was a notification I got a bit ago. So I can only imagine it's only a matter of time before the Witness Gaming NA squad readies up. I'm curious to see. We saw a little bit of sniper we're seeing in the pre. I'm curious to see if we're going to see that on a even more favorable sniper map in some aspects on Sunshine. But we are going into, I guess, technically the third mid, the first mid of this server at the bare minimum. But gonna see more action in a couple seconds here as both demos are rolling out. Arriving to mid, they've arrived, and once again, Artist rolling out Choke, and Mac gonna go a little bit slower into Valley. Gonna see if Artist is able to det him, or if he's gonna try to save at least a little bit. Early spam coming from the NA squad, and is there re-execing because they got the wrong config. They executed a config where scout speed was disabled.
Oh, that is an older ETF one. That is, oh lord, we've just TF2 things, Every now and then, I feel like on the Serve Me servers, there's got to be like 100,000 configs from just weird old situations, like all the different whitelists as well. Like I don't know what things are like in NA, but we've recently, like, there's been bans on like the Market Gardener and Quickies and stuff like that. So I feel like definitely in the in the last in the first half, whatever, of this map, Mac was really just giddy with excitement to be allowed to use Quickies again.
Yeah, I think for NA, our whitelist doesn't change too often, realistically. I think only the last thing that was ever like banned and unbanned was the Cow Mangler, I'm pretty sure. And that was like, but before that, I can't even remember what it would be, realistically. There's been some talks of like the Mark Gardner, there's always that like handful of people that talk about the Iron Bomber, complain about it, but that ban never goes through. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some unlocks to be used, because I think by now there was the global whitelist or whatever, but by now enough time has passed, so there's a couple differences. So there is some room for some old antics to arrive depending on whatever whitelist you're playing on. But it appears the scout speed thing is a plug-in, so I'm not sure how easy that's going to be able to change compared to just a normal CFG executor through console. So I'm not sure if we're going to see another server or if they're going to be able to fix that momentarily. But I guess only time will tell.
I'm seeing, I believe we're actually supposed to be going live in about 40 seconds or so I think they must have worked it out. I don't know exactly what the command is, but I think it literally is just, one option which has changed. Oh, and I can see they've changed it as well.
Oh, there they go. Yeah, I see it in the chat. Okay, that works out. Well, I'm going to see fast medics to mid. It's always interesting to think about the slow medic speed, though, how it kind of changed the pacing of the mid, because you couldn't really do as much things as you were comfortable with, expending your health, because your medic took a couple extra seconds to actually get to these mid fights. So even with like extremely long rollouts as well. But back to what we're used to, at least the past couple years. Fast medics following their scouts, and we do have some teams readying up, and both readied up actually. So we're going live into third mid, first of this map, or first of this server rather, and excited to see what will change after, I guess, technically another halftime for these teams to talk about what they want to do.
It's like third time's the charm, This is guaranteed to be it. Once again, Artist going to be rolling out considerably faster, considerably weaker, but not going to be doing anything too crazy to begin with. Mac trying to take this little bit of position. Hugo all the way towards top left. This is going to be EU getting this aggression to be going all the way forward. There's nice follow-up, though. Yep, Domo's going to be going down. This is going to be all about RGLgg staying alive, playing all the way towards this valley position right now. Going to be giving it nice and chill. Got two scouts as well, which is a fantastic position. Thomas, let's try and walk all the way through, but guess what? He's going to get spotted out nice and easily. Opti, the one little player to try and do it, and it just won't happen. These scouts on the NA side just tore people apart.
Yeah, it's a classic just Sunshine strat. Clean up the medic. The mid is big enough to where you can have a decently okay chance at making sure that yours stays alive as long as he survives the first bomb that might come his way. So just cleaned up Domo and tried to hold on to their lives, and they've done that at least for now. Able to clean up the second cap. RGLgg and High Five are making sure that goes away, and the EU squad, they're building up a gun. They do have a sniper on the field watching the top left from their perspective, so Laz has to watch his head collecting info, but The gun, not normally what you see off the bat from traditional NA holds, so they're going to have to deal with it, but they have spotted it. They are able to successfully spam it down, pre-push. It has bought a little bit of time for the E squad to get their Uber, so it's only 30% disad now, but immediately popping in through this left-hand side, immediately getting onto the heavy as well as the right-hand side of the spawn. Soldiers coming in late, getting on the point, trying to block at least a little bit off. He will fall. You trying to give up his life as well, cleaning up Ash. Artist on top of the point, in the thing of it, popping up the air. The heavy is now front and center on top of the point, will eventually die as well. 4v2 scenario. Uber finally coming into the equation. It is just Mac left alive, though, to be able to frag out onto the remaining Witness Gaming players. They do have respawners happening in 2 seconds. The NA squad has to play this very fast. They don't want to get cleaned up, but they are able to make sure that Domo does fall. Mac is pushed back, and this round is theirs.
Yeah, we definitely felt like the EU soldiers, they went for that kind of big commit to block the point, but just like a hair too early, and as a result, they basically just got annihilated as soon as they got on there. So yeah, really felt like the goal for EU was to try and get that Uber, but then the second they did, that was just in 8 seconds of no one else even spawning. So pretty unfortunate. NA very, very happy. This time, Artis rolling out a little bit more aggressive, at least to begin with. Trying to get a little bit more damage here. Once again, Hugo's going to be going in really deep, gets a nice little scoop up for Rocket, going to be forcing Artis all the way back. Opti with a follow-up, gets a lot of damage, no actual frags though. With Mac really weak, they have to slow things down a little bit on the EU side. Now it's going to be positioning, taken all the way on the side of NA. Laz does go in, gets this one juggle towards Domo. Somehow Domo manages to live there.
Oh, he ate the pack and lived. Artist bombed in as well to get some little bit of extra damage, but it's not quite enough. Laz tried to clean it up in the last rocket. They wanted Domo so bad, and it took a little, actually it took more than a little bit, it took a lot to make sure that frag was cleaned up, but they are able to find some success. So RGLgg has a full Uber to work. They don't have soldiers, they can't necessarily watch a whole lot of doors here, but they do have both their scouts on the field, trying to poke through Cafe. Hugo trying to hold the door, but drop extremely low, will eventually fall. Tomas gonna eat the pack to stay alive, and they're working their way through the choke side now. Ash has now arrived, and do have the engineer up on last, so it looks like they're not looking to actually force too heavily. Tomas gonna fall through.
Grand Slam,
cleaning up Mac as well. He's on a tie right now, able to clean up those 2 frags, and the rest of Witness Gaming NA are on the move.
Yeah, this is basically perfect for them right now. Getting that frag so late onto Mac. It's going to be 10 seconds before we can do anything towards last. They can walk all the way towards lower. Not even going to get spammed too much. Only now using this Uber. They got a gun to deal with. That's perfectly fine. Soldiers have to go towards point immediately. No stickies there to be playing with. Mac still just only spawning. And basically the rest of the team's kind of getting crushed towards point. NA does need to slow things down a little bit because the health's not fantastic. They want to go for this recommit. Oh, we just see the soldiers getting absolutely floated into the... Somehow he's just combining. This is such a scrappy situation. Mac needs to keep himself loaded. We do actually have one player backing up all the way towards lower, and it's actually RGLgg just backing up now. They don't want to go for this fight.
Oh, high five taking the one going, but will not find a whole lot of success there. Brandzan bailing him out, make sure the kill onto Yeehaw does indeed happen, but at the end of the day, Witness Gaming NA, they had an okay start, but it seems like the second fight they had over last was just mistimed, just too early from the side of the soldier initiation. Speaking of soldier initiation, last bombing in, making sure Tomas immediately falls, unable to make a whole lot of space with both scouts still dead for the side of Witness Gaming E. It's going to be tough to use this Uber at it that did exist. Ooh. So Opti falling as well, opening for the side of NA to go for some sort of sack or exchange or something on the field, trying to poke through these doors. Going to have Hugo move over as well as the heals. Immediately going to have Ash bomb in, but unable to find a whole lot of damage. Last sacking in on a Noah, popping in the corner, a little bit of damage onto him. Time on the point, Force will come out, and they will give up at least another one. Melee kill from Hugo on a high five, and it's just Laz and RGLgg left alive. Laz probably gonna get caught, as well as RGLgg getting bombed, maybe? No, Mac unable to quite find him over by the cafe side. Laz living as well. Almost a last second arrow, but the 2-shot from Yeehaw through the window, make sure the RGLgg does indeed die, as well as Laz cleaned it by Tomas. He's still on a roll. Moving on to Artist. Artist just barely living 4 HP. It's going to be 3 more than you need, but at the end of the day, NA in shambles is not only do they lose the opportunity to push and take last, they lose too, and this is for sure going to be a lost mid.
Yeah, there was even like a follow-up rocket right at the very end there, which Artist so very nearly ate, but thankfully is going to manage to stay alive. This is Domo sitting on a cool 45-ish% advantage. Going to be very, very happy with that one.
Artist, you're alone in Valley. Oh no. What is he doing? He's just alone in Valley. The confidence. He's like, oh, I'll just peek by myself. It's fine.
It'll be fine. What's the worst they could do? What, kill me? No, it's absolutely fine.
Just surf it, forehead.
It's easy, you know? They got the Uber right now. A lot of spam actually coming from the NA side. They have this nice position towards point. Domo got super weak. Just has to use, like, basically, you know, not even a soldier bombing. We do see Ash gonna get taken down. Lance gets a frag on Opti towards his flank now. And RGLgg 85%. Laz kind of wants to stay behind and just keep himself alive for this kind of pincer movement, but there's going to be a few more seconds to go before CookieJake actually gets this. Do have it now. Still, Ash going to be going down.
Oh, he gets Yeehaw as well. They try to take another
huge.
1v1. And that's even less of a backup attempt, so that means Witness gaming, and it can be even more aggressive.
Wait, he
Neely
gets
getting
more!
Mac and Hugo. They just send in 3 players right off the bat, knowing they don't have to cover all these doors, leaving a high five on the cabin, immediately running through the choke, trying to find their way through. Have Opti over on the sideline of the flank. Ransam's going to find him. The rest of the team jumping forward and make sure the rest of the EU squad is backed up. Off, you have to back up into the rolling out high five as well as Ash, so that's going to be an easy kill for the NA squad. But all that time, they technically are able to take the middle point, but they've pretty much lost their ad. They only have a soldier kill to work with, so a little bit of some open doors to work with here as they try to poke and prod their way to see how they can make the second point theirs.
Yeah, we do see aggressive soldier. Yep, Laz going all the way in. Gets, just enough damage, actually. That's going to be some good spam, I believe, from Choke as well. Going to be forcing off Domo. And just, yeah, nice and easy on the side of NA. They're going to be very, very happy with that. And even a pretty generous spawn on the side of Laz. Already 4 seconds. He needs to be up as well, so nothing to worry about there.
Yeah, these Sunshine forward spawns are actually really gnarly. You can use the heck out of them, and they're definitely doing that now. They're working their way towards Valley, immediately popping in, trying to catch anyone that's unable to get through the shutter. And it's going to be Mac. He tries to go through lower because he knows shutter's not an option, but he's not close enough for that either. Trying to find Hugo. They are able to find their way into lower, but so that's just CookieJake going to find Tomas. Almost cleaned up, but the pistol is not going to hit the mark. They are able to collect a couple more,
They're
though.
backcapping. They're backcapping this whole time. They don't care about
I didn't even notice. They just sold out half their team to make sure that they get this back cap, and they are going to find success in that regard. Domo will get cleaned up at the end of the day, and Opti will die to fall damage. Artist getting the... Did Artist forward spawn camp Mac and made sure that he died again? So I guess technically they back cap, but once again, CookieJake alone, unable to find the flank onto him, so they are going to be able to make sure that Hugo does indeed die. But this forward to Artist alone?
Just don't leave spawn, guys. It's fine. He's got the sticky bombs there. Meanwhile, Yeehaw's just like on his own little game. He's just been running around solo for like a solid minute and a half at this point. He tries to take the 1v2. It's not going to happen, buddy. That is just, it's just not going to happen. Right. Take a breather, EU. Please stop feeding for a second. This is going to be, somehow, in all of that, NA's taking control a second, but it's only like a 25 to just about 30% advantage. Not even like horrendous.
Yeah, it's definitely decent to work with, but you do have to play this pretty fast. If you take too long to spam out this gun earlier, maybe don't necessarily gun for an objective like the medic or the point very quickly. This could spin badly for the side of the NA squad. Immediately popping through as soon as they get immediately onto the gun, actually onto Mac instead. They're ignoring the gun and trying to get damage on the same but will be unsuccessful. Make sure he's cleaned up. They're gonna find Opti over on the side of the flank. CookieJake rotating over the left side, they're able to clean up one. You go onto the claw, able to die, so no soldiers for the side of the E squad to initiate. Do this Uber coming in, 5% left. They're working their way over towards the point. Laz getting a lot of damage onto him. Immediately popping to Tomas, chasing down. Laz able to clean him. Oh, Artist getting an arrow, surviving at least for now. He's still in the thick of it. They're running away now. Pipe on a Domo, making sure he's blasted back, and they're trying to work their way through this area. Actually, no, rotation. They've decided to rotate over towards the right-hand side, see if this door is a little bit more free, but Mac has that one covered as well, so gonna think better of it. Go ahead and back up. Recognize that they don't have to force this dry push. They do have an ad technically to work with to go for try number 2.
Yeah, it's not a great deal larger than it was before. Maybe like a 5 or 10% increase on what they had. You know, it's about 40% or so. CookieJake just about to get it. Domo should be very aware of this. You can see them stick building all the way towards this right-hand spawn. And yep, going to be seeing exactly the same again. Oh, Mac.
Got him this time.
That's a terrible position. Getting caught out means there's going to be no players towards point, but these soldiers have to stack towards it. Brandslam going down is actually going to be pretty tragic there. This heavy is up. Hugo just gets annihilated from Laz's air shot right now. And once again, Domo's getting this Uber. Laz still on the right. Still been spotted. Someone will eventually deal with him, I'm sure. And yeah,
he gets Domo? Wait, what? They just didn't see him. I guess, well, at least Domo didn't see him. The heavy was looking at him, but it's around the corner. And Uber running out, got popped up into the corner and killed at the last second. So a little bit of deja vu, but not exactly the same. CookieJake does indeed fall, so it's going to be actually pretty much a stalemate scenario. I don't think this ad is going to really be able to be anything realistically. And with so much dead, it's not like we're going to see any point difference in terms of recapping a point. So I guess the only big thing to work out here is Tomas is on Spy, so you might see some sort of play happening there as he begins to work his way through water to get over to the second point.
Yeah, I did just have a little look just to see if there was any kind of crazy critters coming out on the attacking side, but nope, gonna be
always on the move.
Pretty happy with Uber.
And here the decloak. Cookie Jake is just healing.
Oh,
He's bought this. Oh no. He bought the disguise at first, and then he's like, wait, why do I see 3 scouts?
he's like, hang on, this doesn't feel right. Hang on a second. Years of invite experience leading to that one moment.
Oh, look at the corner heavy. The corner heavy, he just immediately melts Branson as well as Max. Artist able to take down Hugo, but no scouts right off the bat. That's not very.
My God.
That's not going to spell very well for the side of NA. They are able to actually. Okay, 4-man. So they got something out of it, but there's no scouts even to the side of Cookie Jake. Artist has to get out of there, has to jump away, so the no stickies on top of the doorway. So immediately flooding through, able to get that force, and Artist has to clean up something here to salvage, but everyone, so much movement speed, so much ability to be able to jump away, and they're not going to find too much. They do have a little bit of a player out to try to spam a little bit. The no Yeehaw is still rolling out. Melee bombing onto Tomas. They have to deal with Oppie as well. He's bombing onto High Five, but will not quite find him yet. A lot of damage on Hugo, has to be blasted back over into the lobby area. Oppie trying to salvage still. High Five falling to the side of Yeehaw. Damage onto Cookie Jake, but living with, what was that, like 4 HP?
That was
barely
four.
living.
That may have even been 1. Honestly, like before, like the first tick of regen, that was so close. And actually, I feel like EU might actually just be feeding a little bit right now. They're furious. They're furious.
Yeah, only 3 left alive. They actually didn't have a respawner here to work with. This door just uncovered. Immediately, Artist sticking it. Branson trying to go for it, but he's not beamed. Real low. Bomb from Opti onto Cookie Jake. Well, second rocket not going to hit. Able to get a throw it off, but not hitting quite the mark either. Mac and Tomas left alive. Trying to clean up what is left of the NA squad, but Mac not going to be enough to be able to make sure the stickies stay on the point, and the NA squad is able to get a 3rd round, leading this 3-1.
Goodness. Okay, this is I feel like, you know, as with every great show match in the history of TF2, I feel like we're devolving into just the perfect level of carnage. You know, this is where you get the peak TF2 frag clips.
Very, very true. We do have another mid here. Speaking of the frag clip, Laz immediately bombing in, cleaning up Max, and no Doman on the field for the side of the red team. They're still working their way through. They're trying to play this fast to make sure they don't get softened up by the side of the NA squad. Seems like both teams are just playing their own side, have some height taken by both the scouts to make the Soldiers' day a little bit more difficult, but this slow-paced gameplay, it might just favor the team that has a Doman left alive. Hugo bombing in, gonna get shredded up in the skybox. Bombing on Cookie Jake is the side of Oppie as well. A lot of damage on him, but no kills. They've given up both their soldiers. The rest of the teams are respawning. Domo getting chased by the side of High Five will eventually fall. Branson gonna die from the side of Yeehaw, but getting cleaned up is the red team. They're able to get a couple consolation prizes on their way out. Yeehaw trying to maybe get Laz, but gonna be unsuccessful as that last rocket takes him out. And Mac, the sole respawner here, unable to participate in the rest of the mid from the rollout from Laz. So that is gonna be a Witness Gaming NA mid victory.
Yeah, they can be pretty happy with that. Pretty much the same kind of situation where, you know, they can just deal with these soldiers, and then the second they deal with the EU soldiers, they're like, cool, now we can just chill out with our scouts on our beam, keep Cookie Jake alive, and just be very happy little boys here. We do see Hugo on the sniper spawner. I don't know if he's got any crazy angles we're not aware of, but I mean, Cookie Jake's got a zoo, but they can kind of just go in to some of these players playing towards each shutter. They should just move a little bit further back on the EU side for fear of just kind of feeding at this point.
Yeah, I think he swapped off Sniper, so they only have a heavy to work with, and they're immediately going through lower. This is, I think, is pretty customary to see a team that's kind of in lobby pretty aggressively. They're trying to work their way through without popping. Recognize they have to because of the spam. They're running way over to the heavy, actually. No mobility's unable to escape the Uber. That's a free frag, and Opti bombing into the Uber as well as another one collected. The rest of the red team is over on their own respective right-hand side. 3v6 scenario. You have one respawner coming in. Cookie Jake gonna fall, but it's too little, too late for that frag to come in, and the NA squad taking another round, leading the game 4-1.
I'm going to shout out the fact that, yes, Cookie Jake died there, but it was an absolute feed to point to get the stickies. I respect that from Cookie Jake. That is a team player right there. He doesn't care about his logs, he cares about winning.
Very true. Gotta know when it's time to sacrifice yourself. And if you're confident, I mean, a 3v6, I'm sure you're feeling safe. Just like, oh, it's fine, I'll die. If I die, we'll win this, and it doesn't matter that I've kind of fed. But going into another mid, Laz actually doing a fast Valley rollout, and he tried to sync himself to kind of maybe go on to Mac, who was rolling out through Valley, but he didn't roll out Valley this time. Rollout through Choke gonna be a bit weak, but gonna be okay to continue spamming in this mid. Gonna have some soldiers immediately bombing in. Now, Domo getting surfed over to the own Valley inside. Gonna actually go back for a pack, which the red team is not quite healed yet, able to clean up Artist as well as Laz, so they're finding some success here, despite not being able to be beamed immediately by the side of Domo, who had to go back for health. So gonna be an advantage for the EU squad trying to work their way through, but Domo still very weak. The EU squad, they're still not really having too many heals, but still, despite not the constant beam, they're still able to collect these frags that are coming the direction. It's a 4v3 scenario in favor of the red team as they begin to take themselves over on the top at this point. Branson trying to blast them back, but there is a down man in favor of the red team who cleans up Cookie Jake immediately. No heals left on the side of the NA squad. The scouts are trying to buy some time. Last fast rolling out in, trying to land on Domo over on the capping area landing on him and being able to get that force to make sure that is not in the equation for the later half of this mid-fight. Brainstem still trying to scuffle underneath the point, trying to chase on a Yeehaw. Taunt coming in from Mac, as well as a cleanup from Yeehaw, making sure the rest of the NA squad is wiped up. They got the consolation. They made sure that force was able to happen. Domo did have to use his Uber, but at the end of the day, I think you kind of defied odds until now with this trap that kills 3.
That's disgusting. Artist is just like, go choke. I dare you. I literally dare you to go choke. 1 mouse 2 and yeah, don't even care. So yeah, the 90-second mid-fight ends like that.
Almost, just barely lived. Just barely.
Oh my god.
HP too.
What a chaos mid. What a chaos situation. And after all of that, this is going to be NA taking control of mid. They're going to have actually just almost exactly equal Ubers. They're just walking in and Laz just 2 rockets Domo and then, I mean, what are you going to do?
Max just behind as well. They're just going full chaos. They recognize that Witness Gaming NA wasn't really holding the doors very safely, but immediately Domo dying is going to spell disaster for their longevity of this fight. It's only Opti left alive, and the plan on paper was a bit risky, and it just doesn't really work out at the end of the day. You might find a kill in the corner, depending. Laz kind of checks it. 1v1 duel happening in Valley. Brainstem on the way to try to help. It's moved over towards the mid side, just counter-jumping each other. Laz doesn't want to take this fight until he has a friend with him, and there is Ash getting the rocket onto Opti. RGLgg left alone again. Oh, RGLgg is alone so often. It's extremely nerve-wracking, but they are able to make sure the Opti is cleaned up. But we do have a whole lot of off classes for the side of Witness Gaming EU that are in play. Do have the spy. Tomas is trying to troll Hugo standing inside his hitbox, but they aren't going to see the spy quite yet. So gonna have a whole lot to deal with here, but this is a full Uber ad for the side of Witness Gaming NA.
Yeah, should be pretty good. Using all the way top left. Don't want to get dealt with by the sniper. This is actually, Tomas getting 1 frag there. Can be traded out. Hugo does get that all-important backstab, so make things a little bit easier now. Yeah, this is just going to be kind of crushing all the way towards the floor. Hugo just gets a butter knife. Fantastic, I guess. You know, he's just going to walk at things.
Yep, Ash, only 1 HP, will eventually die, and not going to find a whole lot of success there. There wasn't really too many defensive classes. There was no gun, there was no heavy, but I think the off classes kind of threw him for a loop. The sniper made him pop early, the spy got a frag, and you had to turn around, and hard to focus fire if you don't want to get insta-kill, but Domo very weak. High pop to clean it up, but unable to get past the wall of the EU scout, rushing their way forward. Brainstem volley as well as RGLgg has to surf back. Artist going to have to leave Valley as well, so going to find a whole lot of success here, the EU squad, making sure that the second point is retaken for themselves. They have an Uber ad to work with, but Ash is on sniper in the choke. First appearance in this show match. Immediately, Yeehaw just running through an Artist. The disrespect is going to not be able to find it, but Opti is able to push him into the corner and make sure the Artist will eventually fall.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty important frag there. Just dealing with that demo nice and early is going to be pretty good. I don't know if they're 100% aware of this Ash sniper still. It's going to be a little bit annoying playing on this kind of lower position. You get such a free angle towards choke at quite a distance in order to actually deal with him. I don't think they've seen him at all. Oh, he gets the body shot towards Opti. Not even going to get that frag. Not even going to get that force right now. There should be EU just taking a moment, heal up, be happy with second, happy with that pipe kill as well. This is going to be 85% on RGLgg. EU would be really brave considering how long it's taken to get them here if they push. I feel like they're gonna. Are they just gonna?
The Opti's able to get through the door onto RGLgg. Double soldier bomb. RGLgg in spawn though, so the only frags they're able to get are people that are outside, out and about. Brainstem will die to pipes from the side of Mac. Last immediately jumping in, seeing that the EU soldiers have initiated. He is able to barely live. He doesn't die to the fall damage. Is able to take the pack and live on mid. He's actually going to go back and maybe even duel the EU soldiers that are rolling out if he's able to find them. He's stuffing the door and causing a nuisance for them, so they have to actually switch on to shotgun and switch other classes, just buying some time for his team. And we do have the EU squad posting up for the defense, but it doesn't seem like they're able to really do too much. But no soldiers, the NA squad is able to make sure they didn't have to even use their Uber to get over to the second point. Laz is going to fall, so that's something to work with from the side of the EU squad, but this Uber from the blue team is still in play.
I'm really questioning the Hugo rocket jumper theory right now.
I think he wants
I don't
to
know.
back cap maybe?
I mean, potentially.
Oh, he's on the move.
He's on the move. He's walking quickly. He's got the shotgun out. He's been scout class because he was basically just a worse scout.
Yeah, they bought some time. Actually, so much damage onto both the scouts, but not going to be able to find the cleanup there. Matt giving up his life and just some damage for the side of the blue team. They have to heal up and just going to slow them down at least a little bit. They're already give this cap. It is going to even out, but maybe they block out this demo man spawn. Probably not the other spawns, but no demo. Try to get into Sunshine second. It's going to be something you definitely are going to want to work with if you're this side of Witness Gaming NA.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely feels like, at least go for some kind of sack attempt or something. This is going to be Laz taking a little bit of position, taking some attention. Ooh, combining to do quite a lot of damage, but it's going to be high five. Taken down, traded out for Opti. Not too bad. Ash is so weak, though, and this is actually a little bit scary. We do see Uber come on in now on the side of Domo. This is going to be... Oh, CookieJgg is choosing to drop Artist here in order to keep control of the Uber, but honestly, that is a fair trade as long as no one else kind of feeds right now. Oh, they're playing on a knife's edge.
Oh, they barely stay Brand Slam. They get the 2. Okay, so it ends up being worth a 2 for 2, and they have a slightly better Uber. Hugo is behind, so they do have to deal with him. High Five is going to be rolling up to deal with him as the rest of the team paces forward and is able to clean up Domo. So very risky play coming out of CookieJgg, choosing to whether or not to drop his players, but is able to find some success there to make sure that the second point is recapped for his team. And they technically, because Domo died so late, that was like end of the Uber where he died, like much later. They do technically have an ad to work with, but even before that, killing Yeehaw right off the bat, they do have Tomas flanking. They might be able to kill him. Yeah, and they are able to find success. They're only losing Artists for that. They don't even need to wait for the Uber. They've gotten so many frags here that they're able to make sure that this round is collected as theirs.
Yeah, that is going to be all that's written for that round. And so what is this? Technically 5-1 for the side of NA. I feel like right now we might even see a bit of a win limit situation after, what was a pretty slow start for the side of NA. They've definitely got into their groove. They're firing on all cylinders.
We'll have to see what EU has any tricks up their sleeve. They're able to, they are going super fast. They've kind of landed at different spots. They went to one door each to cover all their bases. That just means they are unable to really get very many kills at all. They're able to get Tomas, which is something, but they're going to lose Brand Slam for that. And immediately Hugo bombing onto CookieJgg. Oh, just barely unable to collect that frag. So, I mean, they kind of covered their bases, but it didn't really work out. Oh, Artist bombing in?
He's just in. He's just feeling it. He's like, don't worry, boys. I'm going to hit everything, by which he means maybe like one sticky.
Oh,
the crit scout. They're just walking in. He'll get one, does he? He'll get the second. Surely he'll get the second. He doesn't. Dude, he's hitting the pipes as well. Max so weak under. They're kind of just getting all crushed right now. Yep, Max a late death. We do see Domo trying to leap towards Choke. He's getting chased down as well. Does manage to get to his scout. And Laz is going to have to just walk away. Not quite what you want to do there, but I mean, we did get CookieJgg at least, so EU does have heals, whereas NA very much does not right now. They can try and walk all the way in. Yep, Brand Slam Sniper has been slammed into the ground, so that is going to be an whoa, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. A controversial mid-win? I don't know.
Unconventional?
Unconventional, yeah, that's the one. Sorry, I had a stroke.
Yeah, they do. They have some wiggle room to start working their way through here. Immediately using Yeehaw, though, it's going to be a bit of a bane for their push. Thomas as well. They're down 2 scouts right off the bat. They do have their crits ready, but they know it's crits. Domo didn't die throughout all this, so the NA squad know what they want to do to try to make sure they either live through it or try to stuff it as hard as they can. And with Opti dying it very late, this crits coming in from Hugo, trying to get some late rockets onto anyone, but only Ash will find it. And meanwhile, the flank from High Five and Lat, so much damage on Domo with just spam, and they're trying to clean up, is able to collect that from the side of Artis, and High Five killing Hugo as well. So a bit of an execution error trying to get in is going to be have them falter a little bit. Thomas is trying to get through, and not quite, and it's just a complete bloodbath. They're trying to salvage, but no one on NA is dying, at least for now.
No, I respect the absolute just like uncaring look on CookieJgg's face as he just stands motionless and choked. Like, go on, try it. I've like 3 of my players next to me. Just literally try to walk into me. It's absolutely not going to happen. He's got his massive Uber advantage. They've got player advantage. They have the health advantage. The fact that Domo has even managed to live to get to spawn to resup is quite frankly incredible. So this should absolutely be everything NA needs to close this on out.
Immediately Ubering in, trying to work their way over towards the point. There's no gun or anything. It's just Sniper and Spy, so they're trying to find someone to kill. Meanwhile, their flank has pretty much died as the red team has rotated pretty much in lobby. The Heavy is on the field now. Gun Spy still trying to revolver people, and I think NA have realized that, yeah, they probably should have played the point there, and it's just going to end up with their team pretty much wiping for the most part. Just 2 left alive, trying to find a way for CookieJgg to survive, but he will be unsuccessful. Brand Slam seeing the only avenue is some sort of back cap. Going to take Bill Gun versus Tomas into the back lines, but will get cleaned up, and it seems like their priorities in terms of figuring out what they wanted to do for Laz is not really going to net them anything, as Laz gets something, but he will die very, very late. So free second point for the side of the EU squad.
Yeah, they can be happy with that. They've got Uber as well, so all looking good. Now they've got the player advantage as well, so they're going to be pretty happy. They, I don't know. It's at this point, it's 4 minutes. You need 4 rounds. This is All go all the time, or you can need a headshot from Ash and lose
Oh
your demo.
my
Oh
God.
my god! Ash just doesn't care. He just domes Domo, and the rest of the players just fall immediately after. Oh my god, get crushed.
That's gonna be a clip. Was that a walk, or I'm rewatching on the stream? Did he surf that? No, he just walked around. Okay, but still impressive nonetheless. The two most important frags to get, just one after another. Yeehaw will eventually fall, and that's gonna be a quick turnaround for the NA squad. There's barely any setup for the side of the EU squad here at last, and they're already looking to just dry in potentially, depending on what they see. There is a sniper on the field, it's making them second guess it. They do know that they have an ad to work with because of everything that just went down at mid, so it looks like they're gonna go ahead and bank on that, but they have to change up the way they're playing this. Last time they pushed with ad, they couldn't find anyone to kill because there were so many off classes just in spawn and worked their way around through lobbies, so we'll see how they kind of approach this as the Uber starts to come into the equation.
Yeah, this is going to be used all the way top left-hand side. Going to be pretty easy. Artist walks all the way over. This time, Max is going to get caught. No sticking towards point, which immediately opens it up. Scouts can start walking here. They've already got both these soldier frags as well. No one can even get to point in time to prevent any from capping. That is going to be 5th round. Very nicely done on the board. It's going to be NA very, very firmly winning their server pick, server region, whatever. In that situation, very nice.
Yep, took them a bit to get the ball rolling, but I think it was a pretty even game at the beginning, and then I think you kind of have to point at the pings, you kind of have to point at the map, but I guess it's to be expected you see something slightly different from the more even Snakewater performance, especially because it's much more of an even map or an open map, so you can kind of see more of what's going on, and it's hard to just like immediately crush people with spam and stuff. But spare a couple moments. There's some definitely moments where a team tried to walk through and they found themselves into a meat grinder, but it's much less common. But definitely big plays coming out from both teams on this map, and I'm excited to see what the third map has in store for us.
Yep, remember, of course, the third map will be our mix-up map. So this is going to be, I believe it's on process, but we have both the teams going to be mixed up a little bit. So people are going to be playing with both EU and NA players, playing with some people maybe they've not played with before, doing all kinds of shenanigans for this third map. But, you know, before we go there, we have some numbers. I love numbers. What are the numbers you're looking at, Jarrett?
I am surprised to see 460 DPM on Sunshine of all
Good
maps.
God.
Like, normally if you see a Dome that's 460 and a log, you're like, oh, what? So they played Viaduct? Like, no big deal. But you play one of the biggest maps in the pool where so much of it is like sticky sniping and things like that. You're able to farm that much damage, and he collected so many kills as well. Artist is definitely popping off real hard, and especially even more so now that he's on NA server. So I guess it's not too surprising to see that kind of still be in his favor. That's the thing that stands out to me the most.
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's only, in fairness, there's generally only so much you can take away from like logs where it's like incredibly one-sided. You know, the numbers they're always going to be skewed in the favor of the team which did the rolling, but that is still genuinely like you could tell just by watching that game, Artist was having a big impact, but still 460 is kind of insane. I definitely feel like one of the biggest things in terms of the EU side is you know, even though their soldiers were looking pretty coordinated to begin with, when it got to some of these like scrappier end parts, and definitely when like NA was looking more confident in terms of what they were doing, these soldiers got so much less work done on the EU side. I think I saw a couple messages from Opti in chat who, being French, is incredibly privileged in the world of Europe, and usually will get like 6, 7, 8 like single digit ping when playing on French servers, which a lot of EU does happen on. So him moving to like 100 ping. Could definitely see was impacting his play. Yeah.
For the EU side, I'm definitely keeping my eyes on Yeehaw for the mix, though. Despite it started to get a little bit more one-sided in the second map, but Yeehaw, he still is able to pull out some decent numbers for his team. A 300 DPM scout with collecting 20 plus kills is nothing to sneeze out for a scout player. So definitely having my eyes on him. I'm curious to see what they're going to do for the rosters. I think we have a roster on paper that they could just like easily slide into that was like predetermined on how they would shake up their teams, but I partially don't trust it because I feel like they could just change it at the last second because they feel like it. So we'll see what happens when we finish loading into the server. I'm still loading into it on the server level change, so I can't quite see yet, but I can only imagine everyone's here, so it shouldn't be too much longer.
Yeah, I think I can see people kind of vaguely getting sorted into different channels and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I feel like as with everything in TF2, you can plan for people to do certain things, but then the reality is always going to be something a little bit different. So we'll see exactly what we'll decide on. I think potentially there might be a short intermission just while we get a couple little things sorted. Yes, yeah, okay. From the looks of things, yep. Just gonna go for a short, just 4 or 5 minute break. So get yourself a well, if you're British, get yourself a cup of tea. Some biscuits, do whatever. If you're American, whatever you drink at midday. We'll be right back in just a few short minutes.
Welcome back, everyone. The intermission is over, and we have arrived on the third map of Process. It's going to be a little bit of a shakeup this time around from what you previously saw in the other maps. Going to be kind of a mix, kind of a pug, putting both the teams together, just mashing them up and seeing what comes out. So, going to be playing with some different players than you would have normally expected on an individual basis. You know, not necessarily your teammates of your season, but the teammates of your sister team, I think it's split 3 and 3, I believe. We can probably go over the rosters for everyone, so everyone knows exactly how everything's been shaken up.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty split down in the middle. We have I don't know, we'll have to come up with some good creative names for them. But for the minute, Team A will be Branslam and Yeehaw on scouts. Branslam pocket, Yeehaw flank. The pocket will be Hugo, Rubber will be Laz, Mac will be on demo, and Cookie Jake will be medic. So that'll be our first little team. On the other side, we'll be having Tomas Pocket Scout, High Five will be on flank. We'll be having Ash on pocket, Opti roaming, Artist, of course, demo, and to wrap it up will be Domo on medic. So, yep, pretty equal split. Definitely going to be good to see. I always find these kind of mix-ups fun because, you know, you're not only seeing people play with people they don't usually play with, but they get to play against people that they usually play with. And I feel like there's always some good rivalries there, you know? I feel like there's going to be a lot of situations where, like, I don't know, Tomas is just going to run at Mac to, like, prove a point.
Yeah, it's always a different environment when you're not necessarily playing with your team because there's a difference of how much you think you might get scolded at if you do something like really risky that doesn't really pay off. Being in a
Yeah.
team environment, your teammates can be like, "What are you doing? I'm trying to win." But in this one, it's kind of like a pug or a mix. It's like, I'll do this risky play because why not? It'd be funny if it works out, and if it doesn't, and like the other your teammates are like, whatever. I kind of expected this, so I think for
Yeah.
us, we're probably just gonna. I imagine we just call it red team and blue team. I don't think there's really too much else to really differentiate them. So we'll see where they actually land. I think they have kind of picked their teams, which a stream will eventually see which one is blue and which one is red, but not a big difference for now. The big difference, though, I think, is we're pretty split between who has the high ping and who has the low team for each squad. It's pretty fair. Although you could make some sort of argument, I guess, like which classes is better for high ping and low ping, and like which team would have an advantage there. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen, especially on such a staple map of process. Where it's like I think
Yeah.
everyone's pretty familiar with like a pug or a mixed team on this map in particular.
Yeah, if you've played TF2 in the last 10 years, then, you know, if you played 6v6, most likely you've played a good chunk of process, and every, like, mix or pog or whatever, I swear, always seems to end up on process in one way or another, so it's definitely the kind of a map which is, you know, it's just open enough that you can, you know, do some fun, weird back cap and kind of jump high, do whatever plays, but it's also closed enough that sometimes you can just nuke people in doorways, so I'm hoping to see something pretty exciting here. I want to see, honestly, for the sake of how much Opti was giving himself a hard time in chat, I want to see some big stuff from Opti this game.
I think for process, it's normally the what I always like to call it is it's the everyone's first competitive map. Really, it's also the map where there's not necessarily like any new strats you really see. It's something that you've seen before whenever it comes out. The question is, what do you think the other team's actually going to pull out? And when you're going with like a non necessarily structured team and it's kind of a mix, you never really know what that's going to be.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. This is going to be our final map here. Mixed up teams. You can see them red and blue on your screens right now. This is, of course, all in aid of the old Witness Gaming fundraiser to get the NA boys to the wonderful Copenhagen Games in 2022. So, starting off in this first mid, we do see blue right-hand side. We're going to be taking some decent position on the side of Mac and be getting this beam connected firmly to him, and Soldier's going to be jumping in. Every single soldier on the map is going to be landing, absolutely crushing these players. Cookie Jake gets immediately annihilated. Domo shortly after. Right now, this is looking like a pretty scrappy little fight. 3 versus 3 right now. We do see Laz get annihilated. Both scouts still up on the side of red. And both scouts still up on the side of blue, but Yeehaw got the high ground. That's going to be oh so important right now. Huge pressure in the form of this one remaining little scout. He's lives just long enough and then gets taken down.
It's actually so even right off the bat, but just the little small differences between a Delman being the thing that was killed for the side of the blue team that killed Milt and Artist right at the bat, as well as the late height advantage from Yeehaw. He will eventually die, but that probably netted his team the victory for the mid. But gonna be a late scout death that the red team can technically try to work with. It's not a spamming class, but it is a player they do have at their disposal to try to work their way through these doors. But Tomas immediately falling. You have immediately some counter initiation coming from Laz, jumping in, trying to get anything, but it's only going to be damage that he will find. The rest of the red team trying to flood the way through. Only 2 left alive that are available to be used as a tool on mid. It's just Brandon, Sam, Cookie, Jake, Yeehaw has rolled out, but not a whole lot of positioning for the blue team to use. They're going to have to give up mid and allow the red team to have a successful drive push to retake it for themselves.
Yeah, we do see some stacking towards point. They will be denying Hugo here, so we one less player. Still two rolling out the side of red. They might have a tiny little window to play with, but I don't think they'll be able to be quite fast enough for it. So I think this will be our first little stalemate for the second. Obviously, like you said, in these kind of mixed team situations, you're always much more willing to go for riskier stuff. And I feel like, people aren't going to want to stand around. They're going to want to do some pretty creative, weird jumps, just get in, see what happens.
Yep, and the ball's in red team's court right now, depending on what they want to do. I think they're kind of just trying to spot exactly how the blue team is kind of holding. They're starting to make a little bit of space. They're working their team through sewer to try to at least buy some time for their soldiers to get a good opportunity to bomb in so far. And looking like, if anyone, it's going to be Hugo that would bomb in, or unless Opti goes for an IT play. Actually, it seems like they're on the move now. Opti and High working their way through. Going over onto Laz. He has actually found his way onto Artist, sneaking his way through, able to collect that Delman frag. So immediately causing a lot of chaos and looping around back behind these red players that are NRTs, causing a tyrant, able to clean up Opti with his last shot.
Oh my god, this is a little bit chaotic right now. Blue's looking very happy though. They're looking absolutely ecstatic. Even with one scout on the back lines, he can't even start the back up. He's just going to be solo and PC walking towards... Well, actually, not even going towards mid at this point. He's basically just decided that if he gets anything, it'll be with this 1v1 all the way behind him. But it's still going to be Blue walking all the way forward. They have their Uber. They're pretty happy right now. Domo can't really even leave this this rollout position unless they can get a huge amount of spam forward. I don't see it happening. Surely not.
Yeah, they have no positioning here. They might try for it, though. I guess I see enough people clumped up. They're immediately going on to Mac, getting some damage onto him, as well as flashes onto Yuko, so that's some room for their Uber to be slightly better, but they are going to be able to run out here. The rest of the blue team have to worry about High. They're backing up to the choke. From the red soldiers, trying to make sure this space is created for their team, able to clean up Branson with the arrow from the side of Dome, but Dome will fall to a fight from Mac. So going to be a red medic dead on the field. Now the blue team, they have some openings to be able to work their way through back into this 2 if they want to. It was capped by the red team, but immediately Artist cleaning up Yeehaw, Last cleaning up Opti, so a lot of frags on both sides with no blue scouts despite the Helad. It's going to be pretty rough for the blue team to actually use to retake second right now. It's looking like because of those 2 scout frags, we have to wait a little bit. Going to wait for Branson to go ahead and roll out, but doing that just lets Domo respawn, so I'm not really sure if they're going to try this anymore. I mean, maybe they do, but it's not necessarily guaranteed. They're trying for it. They're seeing what looks good.
Yeah, they're trying to take this position. It's actually to their benefit. The High is actually on last, just basically building a center, and that's pretty much it. So this is actually a little 5v5 situation. They're managing to weather this storm of spam and push these players all the way out now. Laz wanted to try and chase towards Ash here, but not going to be securing that frag. But he doesn't need to, because this is going to be 90% Uber in the hands of RGLgg. This is definitely enough advantage as long as they're nice and quick. They're going to have it. Guns already going down, moving all the way towards this right-hand side, taking nice position. Stickies immediately scattered towards point. They know they can start playing it, but this is Domo almost caught towards this top left now. Things are starting to go poorly, though. They didn't get frags. They didn't get point. They didn't really get position. They got nothing there, and Thomas gets 4. That 4?
Yeah, they tried. I think so, maybe. I mean, they tried so hard to collect any kill, and they barely got High 5 at the end there, but they didn't get any point time to make sure that the red team was... They felt like they needed to leave their spawn. They just sat up in the spawn doors and above their spawn in the nest area, and we're just completely fine, just sitting and waiting for the blue Uber to end. So now they have an Uber of their own. They have to worry about Hugo, who is on sniper over by a sewer area. Have the high ground controlled by Branson, at least for now, but this Uber will eventually bring things back. Last bombing in, popping up Artist in the air, some damage on Dumbo, but will not find more than just damage, and that is it. So Hugo backing up the rest of the team out of... Oh, never mind. Backed up just enough to find the angle onto Domo, and that's going to be a red medic in the grave.
Oh, that's disgusting. That was like the one opportunity they had there. Domo exclaims, he was certain he was around the corner. Well, guess what? TF2 does not agree, and Hugo certainly doesn't either, so... Oh, what a good situation for Red immediately. Now goes towards the blue side. They've got their heals. They're ready to go. Playing with a sniper as well. Makes it really annoying for these soldiers to stand towards the high ground. Be trying to walk all the way in. 80% on the side of RGLgg. Instead, having this one sniper does mean it's going to be a little bit more difficult if they do end up in a bit of a scrappy fight right now. It's going to be all about weathering the storm, getting this Uber, and seeing if they can just try and walk all the way forward. Ash getting a lot of damage. Tries to finish up on his own frag, but really...
he takes the pack and lives.
Oh, just about getting out.
Yeah, just barely. I mean, Hugo definitely made a lot of space. It's so hard to feel comfortable getting that force when there's a sniper right immediately. Bomb coming in from Mac, getting some damage, but not quite enough positioning to make the red team actually get caught by any of the stick he sees laying about. So, gonna be pretty much an Uber for a point. No kills on the board in that regard, but the red team, it's not too much longer till they have an Uber of their own, and looking like they want to immediately just go through one as soon as they get.
Yeah, well, they just don't want to have to deal with this sniper at all. Using immediately, they want to see if they can try and capture anything. Mac manages to jump out, basically take 0 damage, and yeah,
Oh,
no one got
yeehaw.
locked in. No damage has been dealt, and Yeehaw, he's there to terrorize the flank. He's going all the way towards last, but knows he doesn't have the time. He's just got to be annoying on these back lines. Both soldiers have gone back to try and deal with him just a little bit, surely. Yeah, he is going to get cleaned up. High five comes to his soldiers' aid.
Hugo's been on sniper for so long. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen the red team really do anything to kind of prevent him from finding a whole lot of success. Laz able to hide in a corner, making sure the high fives are cleaned up, trying to go for the pack, but it is not going to be there for him. Opti is going to fall though, so 2v2 in terms of deaths, as we actually have Tomas going really aggressive, make sure that Mac does indeed fall. Bomb coming in from the side of Ash, will not find a whole lot of success, but it is a 3v2 scenario, so they definitely have to make sure this is cemented in their favor. So if the red team actually puts any footing out here and tries to get this force and make things slow, they do have a respawn advantage in their favor. Have to be careful. You do have both scouts here now that could just rush into you with this Uber advantage. Don't want to get too close. And CookieJake is going to caught this Uber, is going to come out. The red team has to back up, only giving up Opti at least for now. So they are going to find success in making sure that the blue team bit off a little bit more than they can chew. Going to get forced there and have to set up for the eventual red Uber.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a bit of a lack of coordination. You could see like CookieJake was positioned, you know, so far forward that he really had no choice but to use. The scouts were already starting to play like the real backside of point, like they weren't going to go, and definitely feel like there was maybe an opportunity to kind of rush in just a little bit early, be a bit more proactive with the Uber, but you know, what can you expect? These are very much mixed teams. Uber now in the hands of red. We do see Arcus go for this bomb. Oh god, just send more people on the back app. That's how you do it. Maz all the way on the point. Not going to manage it. Yeehaw's so slow getting to that position. There's so many chasing him, though.
Yeah, Yeehaw actually bought a lot of space, even though the soldiers died pretty early. He was able to make sure he lived inside a lot of people, but they unable to make use of the space, and Max overstays his welcome a little bit too long inside the grass area. So they do have this Uber out of work, but they no longer have a Doman on the field to do that normal jump Uber that you see a lot of teams do. They are working their way through Al-Qaeda, working their way through. All right, so deep on a double, just blindsided. Didn't even need to use nice rocket on Tomas as well. Inside the sewer area, going to immediately eat the pack, but they're chasing 4 down to make sure that scout is dead. So going to find success with this Uber. One more maybe depending on where high five goes. They're trying to cut him off at least a little bit. 2v2 scenario inside the IT area, a little bit of spam onto him, and he will fall as well. So at the end of the day, 3 frags, no scouts on the field, a dead medic, and that is going to mark the red team's departure out of the second point.
Yep, they got no business peeking here whatsoever. Blue, actually, they're going to be feeling pretty happy to start looking towards last. They've got this ad, but you know what? They can just start trying to get in for free before anything's set up. That'll be even better for them. No stickies really towards point. A lot of damage. This heavy does go down. We do see Brownslam playing towards a point, but he's going to get crushed by the spam. And CookieJake, all importantly, doesn't manage to stay close to these players either. He does go down. You see the follow-up towards Domo, so scrappy, but your last player on blue, he's going to get taken down. This is red keeping a hold of things, but ooh.
Yeah, they got a little bit of cap time, but they really sent all in onto the heavy and expended so much of their ammo, and even one of their players to just make it only a trade at the end of the day. So still a whole lot of red players to deal with, a little bit too much to make sure that cap goes in their favor. So there is a scout that is rolling out for the blue team, so it's going to be actually hard for them to dry here. It's technically a 5v6 right now, not in favor of the blue team, so having them go for this is extremely ballsy, and you're immediately seeing that it is not paying off. It's just melting like nobody's business. God. Only Mac left alive, really, and Yeehaw hiding in the corner, recognizing the rest of his team has died. He does go for the timing, trying to play in the double one shot, but only 50 damage, and is not able to find another one to make sure that kill happens. So a little bit too ambitious there from the side of blue team. And speaking of ambition, the spawn camp coming from Artist. Let's see if he gets anything. Oh, not quite.
Okay, it was close. I had horrible flashbacks there to just that little bit of sunshine, but won't be happening just yet. We do see, yep, all the back spawns come in right now, but definitely, you know, Opti is feeling himself. That was an all-important 3k there, and Smash net his team huge Uber advantage. This should be looking really good for them. 11 minutes. Are we going to be seeing the first round?
Maybe. We got a gun and a heavy, so there's a lot of defense, a lot of things to really shoot through. Not a whole lot of mobility if the red team actually goes for the point and makes sure they have to bring players over. Immediately bombing in onto a soldier. They're going to be a late domain going in over towards the gun, make sure it's dead. Damage on the heavy as well. Immediately trying to clear off the point to hit Tomas on. Blaz bombing in, make sure he has to surf all the way back, 11 HP. Gonna barely survive though, but still a 6v6 scenario. No frags with the super. Trying to try to air it up. Oh, Artist popping the air. Laz unable to get into the shutter though. Immediately bombing in. The red soldiers trying to clean up CookieJake to eliminate him out of the equation, but he is gonna live, and they've just given up both their soldiers for it. 5v4 red team. They know they've lost this. They're able to get some positioning, but no frags. So that Uber is another failed last push coming from these teams. And blue team, they're on the chase. running over the point. Tomas trying to give him his left to make sure his team's clean, and he's gonna be able to kill Prince. Him beams up the arrow from RGLgg, making sure that Scout is collected in art. It's collecting Max at the very end. It's gonna be our second team capping.
What a... Oh, almost such a clutch situation there for Thomas. We do still see Red, they want to keep on fighting this. They literally don't care that RGLgg's got his Uber, and they're kind of just beating their lives away. Opti and Ash just immediately running the kill feed. Okay, that's all good. Blue taking a moment, you know, taking a breather, just like, right, that was a little bit stressful. Let's, you know, take a second. They still have this Uber. Domo just only got his now. They're playing in a really dodgy position, though. His artist going to get taken down. He's so close to dying towards Choke, but just about manages to get out, and I feel like they're gonna take this second just to stabilize. The spawner does come in. Ooh, in just a couple seconds. Looks like he will be just about denied, but the rest should be pretty equal right now.
And not a spam class, but it's something you can technically work with if you play fast enough. 5-5 rolling out. Laz trying to work his way on Opti, not going to find a whole lot of success. And with Yeehaw dying as well, that was not timed very well in the slightest. So Opti collecting 2, and that is a pretty decent player advantage for the red team to start to abuse.
Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. You can see how much space they're taking towards this choke point. Oh, Mac as well, taking a lot of damage. Has to get arrowed, which means the rest of Blue, they keep moving further and further back. Eventually, they're going to have to commit forward. They do commit forward with the Uber. They do lose Mac, though, before that happens. So this is looking not too good at all. It isn't good enough on the side of Red that they can really commit off the Uber advantage in terms of their later use. But that Demo Man pick is going to be pretty important. They have just lost Opti, so they might just be happy just to take mid here. Take a second to stabilize, especially when Yeehaw's trying to, as always, terrorize the flank.
Yep, making the space, Hugo bombing in as well as Laz, so they're able to get a little bit of damage, but not quite enough to collect any more kills. Gonna get bombed on himself. Ash making sure that dry push attempt from the blue team is immediately stuffed, and with 3 dead, this is looking like a free point. Laz hiding in the corner, Mac jumping away, and yeah, Laz is not going for a play like that. Oh, Mac just barely chased down as well. Tomas is chased. He's gotten 2. He's found a RGLgg, just barely trying to get into the shutter, and he will reset bind to make sure he lives at least for now. But they're on top of the point. They're making sure they have some positioning on Laz. Immediately, he'll blast it back. Red HP, and the cap will finally go in the red team's favor.
There we go, first round after 14 minutes. Definitely just off the momentum that Red had. They walked all the way through second. That late frag towards Mac was already fantastic, but then the second they got the soldier as well, it was, you know, almost effectively just GG at that point. You know, Thomas really kind of strutting his stuff right now, but other than that, you know, it's been pretty back and forth. Definitely everything to play for as we go into our second mid.
A lot of damage on the artist. Eats an arrow, so he's okay for now, but still has to retake some positioning the blue team has taken. They're playing over by their sewer area, and immediately see a Solar Bomb trying to stuff that. Mac will fall. Trying to land on RGLgg next. Blasted back and have to surf away, but both Demomen and Soldiers are going to be dying on either squad. Small player advantage for the side of the blue team, as well as the height advantage. Trying to move some damage over onto Yeehaw. Tomas dueling over on top of the blue crate. High five falling, and Tommaso just Domo left alive, unable to escape through IT. And Witness Gaming blue team is able to make sure that this mid is theirs.
Yeah. Lovely little flank there from Laz, just basically, you know, by the time waited behind, just chilled, took that opportunity, gets the all-important scout frag, and yeah, pretty much made nicely in their hand. Domo does just about spawn. They do have Engineer Sniper on the defensive side. Everything's looking pretty good for Blue to just go for some kind of equalizer right now. They do have a second just to buff everyone up, take a breather. Ooh, Mac getting headshot there is really, really not what they wanted at all. Now, that's a tough decision. Do you wait for your demo? That's a 13-second spawn, and every single second you wait, you're going to be getting closer to, you know, either just Domo getting his own Uber or something weird happen. Looks like they will be looking to go all the way in, trusting that their soldier's going to be doing it, but
maybe?
Domo just resubbed!
Able to get 2. Found some positioning. They have to spam it on this gun, though. It's still a threat, but they're scuffling over on the left-hand side of the map and just ignoring the gun.
No.
That's how you push with that Demo, man. Immediately, the gun will get focused down, as it is one of the few sole survivors. Domo having to switch onto Pyro off of Medic to salvage any way he can, but the blue team blasting back and making sure that this is a tied game 1-1. Yeah,
there was, you know, a lot of scuffed parts of that push, but honestly, I feel like Red just kind of wanted to give it to him after a while there. Definitely losing the demo was not what you wanted, but you know, they're trying to keep it interesting for the viewers, you know, try and keep it exciting. So this is 1-1, 13.5 minutes left in play. Third mid of the game. Both demos pretty similar position. Soldiers as well, pretty happy just to play their mid. Wait for this one big initiation. Hugo, let's go for a high bomb. To take a little bit of position, forcing some of these red players back a little bit towards choke. You see Laz on a follow-up, but get taken down, so nothing much going to happen there. Mac is already all the way towards his left-hand side, gets a little bit of damage. No frags once again. They're kind of just tearing blue team apart right now. Complete lack of coordination, and the scouts are just fragging everything. Thomas still wants to chase. He doesn't care.
Brand down to 7. He almost died there.
Oh my god.
Oh, Yeehaw, though. He's going for the play. 1v1 versus high 5. He doesn't even want to stand on the pack for the health advantage. He's chatting up, and he kills him as well. The blue team scouts have salvaged getting 2 kills at the same time in different parts of the map. And now the red team, they're unable to take 2 for free. They have to deal with Yeehaw behind and make sure they're here for this cap. With the 2-player advantage, immediately blue team is on the chase. They're moving forward, trying to get some damage through Hugo, creating some space. Brandsam getting some damage as well. And Artist will finally fall, so no stickies. Force coming out from the side of Yeehaw, queues up his life for that. And they actually have the side of a positional advantage. Laz ahead and getting a nice rock on boss to make sure that frag goes in his favor. So immediately dismantled the plays coming at the last second from the blue team. Make sure that this mid is like technically a red win, but it very quickly swapped over to the blue team side.
Yeah, that's like such a disaster. You get that one frag and then the demo and the force as well. That's crazy. Now we're looking like blue's just going to keep on walking in. They've already got one soldier. Ash gets an all-important arrow. Potentially could have lost his own life there, but he's even still getting pressured. This is just constant pressure right now. Everything's looking so good on the side of blue. The only thing they don't have right now is cap time, so they need to take it just a little bit slower for a second while they get there.
So hard.
Oh, they're walking all the way in. Uber's been used. Ash has gone down. We're seeing so many players forced towards spawn. They don't have second still because Arctis was blocking.
Oh, I guess he just went for the play. He gave up his own life, and it finally goes through, but I guess that eventually works out. You need cap time, whether it's second or last, and they're not able to find it. Only 2 left alive for the side of the blue team, and they're hiding a little bit, but immediately found another 1v1. Maybe High 5 can redeem himself after last time, but not going to be able to find the same success. Yeehaw can't win that 2v1.
No. You know, it's...
The last rocket! Oh,
he literally just walks in, gets the drop, doesn't even care, all just in a day's work for Laz. It's all good. Now, okay, they have this advantage. They don't really have the players right now, though. They need to kind of keep walking back. But you can see RGLgg just screaming like, guys, please, just get to me. I want to get out right now. I want to get my scouts. I want to keep on surviving. This ad's only worth anything once we get to 100%, and Brandsam just overstaying his welcome.
Yeah, they're going to be able to collect this cap for themselves, but they do have an Uber Desad that's they're going to have to deal with the red team, so they're fine for now, but as soon as Mac and Brandsam spawn, actually, even before they spawn, Yia's starting to poke around. This Uber is not in their equation quite yet, got a ways to build, but is still a sizable 40%. Definitely going to be pushing, I can only imagine, the blue team as soon as they get. Going to be building up and trying to spot and figure out how the red team is set up on mid to try to figure out which door they want to go through. So far, we've seen a lot of chokes, not a whole lot of ITs or sewers, and it's looking like it's going to be choke once again as they reach 90, actually going in early. Going to take a little bit slow pace, trying to work their way through. Have to worry about the traps. They're in sewer, going to be able to det, but not quite getting a whole lot of damage, but the damage is arriving elsewhere. Mac and as well as Hugo have to be careful about their health, make sure they don't accidentally die, but so far they're in really deep without any team dying. I guess both teams just played it safe, wanted to make sure they survive, and that's just going to lead to a stalemate here with blue team owning mid.
Yeah, pretty happy there. They had, you know, various different opportunities if they wanted to go aggressive, but they were perfectly happy to try and take that for free. Take it as a pretty equal situation, so someone's going to have a Zuba RGLgg as well. Going to keep things pretty equal, and Hugo wants to try and make that very much not the case. Goes all the way through choke, but ultimately won't get much. The aggression from the flank was almost nicely timed, but it's actually still going to be 2 players down on the side of blue. But doesn't quite find any success there now. Obviously trying to be annoying, going all the way towards point, getting a lot of damage here. Ooh, just about RGLgg getting that pack. That's so important. They're kind of crushing his players towards choke. You see so much damage coming out from Mac that Uber does get forced off, and RGLgg's just trying to walk all the way back, prevent anyone from getting in. Short of an artist bomb, that's the only way they could possibly do anything, and that's way too risky. So red, they've just got to keep on backing up now, and blue can take this just as slowly as they want.
Yeah, red team doesn't have any positioning here with so many players still rolling out, so this is pretty free for the blue squad. Blaz actually pretty aggressive inside roll against some extra spam, but not going to commit his life. They know that they already have an advantage to work with this Uber, don't have to create new ones, and they have a pretty decent spot to be able to go through here before a gun is even set up, and I think High 5 knows that going to go ahead and go up on heavy instead, knowing that it's probably not feasible for him to actually build a level 2 or a level 3 as the blue team. They're ready, posted up at 4, popping through the doorway, trying to work their way through, trying to find anything to kill. We're not going to find a gun, but just a sniper in spawn who's going to get Hugo instead. Going to find Opti over on the right-hand side, killing him, so it's going to be 1-for-1 trade. The red team's over on their right-hand side, respectively, over towards 2, and I think they've recognized the blue team that because the slim margins of the Uber as well is only trading 1-for-1 with that. They're just back up playing safe, immediately leaving 2. Laz creating some chaos. Actually going to find Domo with the flank. Red team a little too
Oh.
comfortable there.
Yeah, this is actually really scary from them now, because even though this is ad for blue, they could look to just go into last early and just play off this heals, play off these buffs, all this damage being dealt. It's going to be so significant up until Domo gets up and starts trying to beam. But Thomas with a headshot, he's just like, no. Immediately taking down RGLgg. These players still moving towards the point. They need to be fast on this block, and they're just not on it in time.
It doesn't seem like they were really prepared for the dry push 5. They thought it might come, but did not quite see which door it was going to be. I guess they didn't really spot a lobby, so the clean entry through 5. I think Mac was in extremely deep right off the bat and wasn't really punished until the very end. Didn't even die. It was RGLgg that got a headshot. So another round for the blue team, leading this 2-1 into the next mid.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty happy now. 7 minutes 40 on the clock, so, you know, this isn't nowhere near garbage time right now. We do see, oh my god, Opti. He's just walking on about 3 stickies, but it's all good. Ooh, aggression in the form of Hugo. Gets some good damage. Allows on the follow-up. Domo's getting taken down, so same position we've seen so many times before. RGLgg, he needs to keep himself alive. He needs to get to his scouts, but he's in such a difficult position. He lives, I mean, much longer than you'd expect, but ultimately, it's not really going to be enough. Ooh, I came pretty close in the end, but Red are taking control.
Yeah, Hugo and Laz did a really good job coordinating right off the bat. Not only did they create a giant distraction, but immediately took Domo out of the picture, but it just wasn't quite enough. They sold out so much for that medic frag, but they weren't able to play slow and long enough to make sure that they were able to win that because RGLgg just caught in a corner, unable to just hold S and farm the other team. So with them being caught, red team able to secure the late frags they needed to make sure this mid is there. So gonna be even Ubers at the bare minimum for the blue team as a consolation. Aren't necessarily gonna be able to, you know, pushed back in, but the same could be said for the red team as well. So technically the red team could try, looking like they might try for it just cause they're poking their way through, or at least making space for eventual sack, even though the teams don't have Uber quite yet, but they're towing the line a little bit. Soldier bomb in, they're gonna miss the second rocket, still creating a little bit of space though, and a distraction for when they eventually pull the trigger. Immediately Hugo
He's
bomb
behind
in,
them.
landing.
He jumped straight in. Oh, he doesn't hit really anything. This is like players getting traded out. The pipes coming out from Artis. Actually, is that going to be enough? Yeah, they're forcing blue all the way back. That is an unconventional but really good push. And with 6 seconds left on both Yeehor and Hugo's spawn, Red's going to be trying to walk all the way through 4. It's so aggressive.
And RGLgg stuck in a corner. They're going to be able to get 1, maybe 2. Yeah, able to get 2 with the Uber, so that's fine. But I mean, getting forced is not something you exactly want holding Laz, so they'll take what they can get. So it's going to buy them a little bit of time, but still going to have to build up this gun. Brandsam getting on it now as they wait for the eventual red push, as the red team has to wait for Ash and High Five to go ahead and respawn. But we are going to see double defense once again from the blue team, so might have to see what the red team changes in terms of collecting more rounds with their last pushes. So far, we've seen a lot of both these teams are immediately trying to gun for frags that are really far away. So I'm curious to see how long it's going to take before we see really heavy point play, but it's only a matter of time. Going through 4, right off the bat, on the gun, immediately dropping it down as they move over to the left-hand side. Clearing stickies off the point, putting some pressure onto the heavy as well. Immediately trying to go for Mac. He's so low, but they're expending so many resources. Hugh and Laz going. Hugh's collecting all those kills, and it's just Domo left alive, who's already left prematurely. He saw that going bad right off the bat, escaping through IT. He might live, maybe. Branson on the chase, though. He knows this is the route that medics are going to want to take. Maybe a melee, got the pack, taken up. Branson eating an arrow, very weak. Might still go over this, but no. Gonna think wisely of it, as the red team does have the respawner, so they're able to keep their medic alive, but at the end of the day, that is a failed last push and a successful retake of second point for the blue team.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty happy. We do see Sniper. This is going to be potential for some kind of crazy plays. RGLgg does have his Uber. We can see a lot of these red players are fairly aggressive position towards point. The stickies taking down Ransam is not going to be great, but if they deal with Ash, that's not too bad. There's so much damage being dealt, though. This is just becoming such a scrappy little fight. People are just desperate to not use it right now. RGLgg's just trying to keep all of his players alive. So many arrows coming out. It's so annoying. With Thomas on this high ground, though, you can't really jump him. You can't really deal with him. You can see he's just raining death and destruction. Eventually, RGLgg's going so weak. He has to use... But somehow, Yeehor just walks all the way in and just takes down Domo anyway.
Yeah, and Hugo's still alive at mid too, so Tomas can't really fight 1v1 per se, and it's actually turning very quickly into a 4v4, both scouts going over to him to clean him up. So it's a pretty good job from the side of the blue team. They recognize that even though they were losing so many players, if that went on any longer, there was no way they were able to win that, because the respawn advantage of the red team would just kick in as soon as it went too long. So just saying, screw it, we're gonna go in and kill this medic and then play it for whatever happens afterwards. They're able to make sure that medic frag was collected, so able to make sure that not only mid is collected for themselves, but they're getting 2 for free, and this is technically an ad. It's going to be kind of hard to use realistically unless you like dry through 5, but at least it's something. And red team gonna have to sit up on their own last. They got the gun, they got the heavy, and they're ready for whatever the blue team throws at them.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't have to delay for long in order to ensure that Domo gets his own Uber, so would be, like you say, very, very aggressive if Blue did want to go for it. They're 90% right now. They'd have to start peeking these doorways now. They are a little bit towards 5. Like they are calling like they might just about want to do it. Yep, Maxi jumping all the way in through right-hand side. Does get denied by this gun. Sticky still towards point. They're going to get scattered a little bit. Bramslam is starting to play it, but he's going to be taking a lot of damage now. Domo actually still only 88%, so Uber's not going to come into it. But turns out they really don't need it in the end.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't come into play. They were able to get a little bit of cap time, but they immediately shoved Brand Slam off, and there was no solution for the just flood of red players that ran through, despite the fact they had double defense. They had a heavy and an engineer, unable to really like find their footing to make sure that cap goes their way. So red team, free second for them, and not only that, but they have their Uber still in the equation to try to retake mid with it.
Yeah, they need to be pretty fast though. This is 2 minutes 25 on the clock. Everything they need to do needs to be pretty speedy. They're going all the way through choke. Uber has been used. Didn't want to have to deal with a sniper or many of these other players. Mac is going to get taken down alongside Laz, so that's actually a pretty decent start to things with Hugo still starting in fourth. As long as they can manage to not let him get a headshot, it actually is going to be pretty decent for them once they get this cap up. He's going to be 100% now in the hands of RGLgg, so that is going to halt the push a little bit, but I mean, Red don't have much of a choice. They need to do things, yeah.
And the Uber's coming in. They saw them close enough, and they're immediately going for Artis, immediately training over to the left-hand side to kill him, and now trying to cut off Domo. Some damage onto him, but not going to quite find it. Actually losing Mac as well to Opti, who went behind, so going to be a Doman down, unable to really hold these doors in the long run. Hugo may be falling as well inside the sewer area, but they might get pinched. Yeehaw on the chase, 4v3 scenario. If they can time this well enough, Yeehaw collecting one. Only 2 left alive in the sewer. High five, making sure he's dead. But Laz coming in from behind. Damage onto Domo, dancing around the crates, and that's going to be a dead medic. Laz might be a frag for the side of High Five, but Brain Slam making sure that kill is collected over in their sewer. So at the end of the day, squashed push from the red team, very desperate to make sure that forces Ubers, and they forced it, but they gave up a whole lot for it. Now, not only is the blue team retaking mid, they have an Uber of their own to work with if they even need it, but with so few players left at mid, another frag going the direction in favor as well. They're going to be hard pressed to be in a bad situation right now. So much damage raining down on the red team to back them up, and they're look at them, they're still with the choke, they're still playing in desperation mode.
Yeah, this is 60 seconds. Like, they literally need a RGLgg drop, and he's not. He's just going to be using it. They're going to be surging all the way forward. A lot of damage being dealt. Domo just about getting out through one, but even he's still getting chased.
Ash hid in the forwards and was able to collect RGLgg, as well as Opti being behind as well. So much chaos is happening, and they're finding some success. This is still maybe technically possible if they play perfectly, but they have to play perfectly. Yeehaw hiding in the corner in IT, so if anyone goes there, might be a bit of a problem. Not going to find anyone quite yet, but he could actually go for a back cap, maybe stop. Oh, he's going for a back cap? He can't. Okay,
I don't think they have time to block. Yeah, that's really not going to do much at this point. Red just has to keep on moving forward. They should be aware. If they're smart, if that Yeehaws all the way behind, he's not really going to be much of an asset at all. They're actually putting a couple players. So fast. Yeah, the one thing Yeehaw could do it would be win this. Oh, dude! Oh, he's nuts! He's getting the taunt as well. They're just going all the way towards last.
Right now,
6 seconds left on the clock. They're playing all the way towards point. They do lose Ash. Scout now on the point, and they're getting so much cap time. 1 second.
Got it. They got it with 1 second left. Are you kidding? They literally threaded the needle with that to tie it up 2-2.
That's
insane.
Holy.
We said they had to play perfectly to do that. It was very slim. They had to play perfectly, and that's what they did. Even all the little attempts that was made by the blue team to stop at the last second, they were not able to really find their footing there, and that was quite the last minute of game we just saw there.
You literally, yeah, you couldn't have asked for it to be any more perfect, and just, you know, it's the fact that Yeehaw got that obliterated by Opti, right? That makes it even better. What a great feeling if you're that soldier, you know? Years of just getting beaten down by scouts, and then one airshot makes it all worth it.
It's the type of thing. It's always funny to see when it's between two teammates as well in like a PUD or a mixed type scenario, because you know that the next time that you guys scrim, you're going to be hearing about it. If depending on whatever happened to you is bad enough, you'll hear about it for sure.
Definitely. That'll be something which is brought up time and time again.
All right, well, that is going to conclude the games for a moment. We do have some people that are flooding in because, you know, we're not just doing the show match for nothing. We are doing it for a purpose. And what would a RGL cast be without the post-game interviews to talk about what went down? I mean, it's not a league match, so you can't necessarily say and talk about, like, you know, your standings or whatever. You can talk about the feelings and what went down. So we do have some people coming in, getting everyone unmuted and the like. You have a couple people here. So hello everyone that has arrived. It seems like we have. Let me alt tab so I can see properly. We have Brand Slam, Mac, Witness, and Yeehaw. Hello guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Yo.
So obviously, going into a show match when it's NA versus EU, the first thing you think about is, oh no, what server are we playing on? And you gotta probably play on a server that it's not necessarily that you're accustomed to when it comes to playing outside your region. For you guys personally, how often would you say you even participate in like things that like pubs or pugs that put you outside your comfort zone in that regard?
I think at the last Insomnia I went to, there were a bunch of online servers and they all had like 70 ping, so it's actually pretty good for LAN, pretty good LAN practice, I think, high ping.
What about you, Mac and Brandslam?
I have never played with the 100 ping
Not even
or
pubs?
90. Like sure pubs, but like I try to avoid it all the time. So like
That's
I
fair.
barely practice with it at all.
Yeah, I'm not like a NA pug or anything.
It's fair. It's really odd hours as well, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about keeping on track of like the ping scenario. Obviously, play different servers on different maps, and each had your chance to play with a little bit suboptimal ping at some point or another. Some more than others. Can you talk a little bit about the experience on playing with the ping, but in a scenario where it's not just like, oh, it's a. I mean, so the last one was a pug, but playing with your team environment, does that change at all with some of the normal things you might pull out compared to league matches with your teammates?
For us, Thomas was like complaining about getting melted as we came out of Valley on Sunshine.
Axe started trolling and used a lock and load and
That's
quick bomb
untrue.
launcher.
That was yeah. I guess that was.
Can we rewind the cast? He was equipping those weapons, so yeah.
There was another thing that maybe changed as well for one round.
Brandslam, do you think you guys changed the way you were playing at all because of the ping when you were playing on the Snakewater server, or were you just trying to do the same stuff but just higher ping?
We were literally just doing the same stuff. But I don't know. It was not really working at all. It kind of just felt like they would double bomb our demo, and to me, like from my perspective, not like Laz or Ash, it just took me longer to kill them because I think of ping, and then it was just different. Other than that, it was just I don't know. My med was dying a lot more, probably because I was missing a lot because of the ping. But other than that, we didn't really truly adapt. Like I think at the very end, I started doing some chaos stuff, just like going behind, trying to fucking get picks and stuff like that. But in the beginning, played the same. Near the end, played a little bit different, but it didn't matter. We still lost.
What about see, my questions would be more like I don't know how close enough you witness guys are, but like let's start with like the EU side. Obviously, I would imagine you've not played against or with the NA guys like really at all. Is there anyone which kind of really stood out, kind of like surprised you with kind of how good they were, or did you kind of have any significant kind of experiences that made you kind of think, oh my god, yeah? Like personally watching, I don't know, Artist seems to just work some magic. What did you guys feel?
I was gonna say Artist like demo diffed me on higher ping than me, so definitely him. His traps are crazy as well. It's hard to play against, but like I think they're all pretty good.
Yeah,
What
I
about
guess
you,
that's one thing to
Branson?
point out about the differences between you normal play against the same people in a league setting, and then you go to a bunch of different people. So yeah, Yeehaw and Branson, what was it like playing with a complete, for the most part, new faces for a change? You don't necessarily know what's going to be on the table when they come in the server.
What was that again? I wasn't listening.
I mean, the difference
fucking-
between playing against like, oh, it's the same playoff people you're playing matches against. You know these players, what their tendencies are, versus
Yeah,
playing
like
EU
how
players where
different
you
it
don't.
is.
Yeah.
Well, on NA ping when they were playing against us on Sunshine, they were doing a strat that were literally just like rolling up Valley and insta bombing into our choke because they're so healthy, and they literally won mids off that. Like what they did there was like really good. Especially, I feel like doing that when they had a really high ping was like probably one of the best plays they could have done, and it was really good. Like I don't know why we haven't tried doing stuff like that for just even on NA ping for like just like one surprise mid, but for EU ping, I don't know. Like for us, Are you talking about? Are you still talking about like a player that like like stood out in like
Sure.
the first map? I'd probably say Yeehaw. I think Yeehaw did fucking crazy for Flank
What?
Scout on Snake Motor.
Ooh, I'm out. See ya.
No, I don't know. It literally it felt pretty impactful what he was doing.
It's kind of just running in and collecting frags on a whole lot of the 3 maps that we saw.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually like teams in NA, you don't really see like Flank Scouts. I don't know. It was just I don't know if it was just working because of ping or I don't know. Our flank was just getting diffed for a little bit, but I honestly I don't even think it was flank diff. It was just combo scout diff. Maybe Tomas instead. Yeah, I don't know. Both their scouts are really good.
All right, well, this was all, of course, a fundraiser to try to get NA over to Copenhagen Games in April, which is a LAN. Can you guys talk a little bit about your expectations going into LAN? I know you guys are definitely pretty strong in your region. Any past experiences that make you excited to go into a LAN format again, or anything about Copenhagen in particular if you've been there before? I guess it's mostly towards Mac, because I know Brand Slam probably hasn't tripped over to the EU quite yet.
I've been to one Copenhagen before, and I came 5th. I was on a very good team, so it'll be exciting to go on a better team. But we also need to find a scout replacement for Toe until then. So it'll probably look a little bit different than we do now. But yeah, it'll still be good to go in being like one of the better teams, you know. I don't think we'll be expected to win it or anything, but we'll be up there for sure, hopefully.
Branson, any thoughts about flying over to go to that land later on?
Pretty excited, and I think if our entire team gets over there, we'll just absolutely destroy. I don't know. If we all have
Excited to
like
see
really
it.
low ping and we're all there, I feel like we'll just own the venue.
Well, we're gonna have to see what happens. It's a bit away before that goes underway. I think it's multiple months, so this is, I guess, technically like a bit of a teaser. It's just gonna make people want to have the LAN happen even more, and just why can't LAN happen now? But gotta wait. But we'll eventually get there. And like I said before, this is all a fundraiser to try to get the NA team over. If you type, if this is live, you're watching this live and watching it via Twitch, you can type !witness in chat for information about their Indiegogo page, which has all the perks for donating and the tiers. But I think we've probably hit all, at least the listed tiers of milestones for now. I think the last one I saw was like Team MGE bracket 20, which was pretty neat. But definitely want to keep the Intercontinental type of tournament style alive, and it was kind of put on hiatus for a little bit, but it'd be nice to keep the ball rolling and get another NA team over to Europe to compete eventually, which is what this is pretty much for. So definitely excited to see what's going to be happening in April.
Yeah, should be good. Looking forward to it. Just no one ruin it. No one get the Rona. Wear masks. Get vaccinated. Don't be a dafton.
True.
Other than that, I think that's the only messages I have.
I think that's pretty much it. I think it's time to kind of move over towards the shout out phase. Brand Slam and Mac, and actually no, Witness is still here. Witness, you're the one who's coordinating all this. You didn't play in the matches, but you're the one who's doing the fundraiser stuff. So before we go to shouts, if you have any thoughts of your own just about the whole thing that's going down with going to LAN, you can say them now.
I almost played the show match because I think Matt got cut in the middle of the Sunshine game, so he almost called me in on demo. And out of courtesy, I didn't play. I didn't want to embarrass people and win too fast. Got to really stretch it out. It's been really great kind of organizing this, and I feel like I've been kind of up everyone's like back, trying to, hey, get back to me, and hey, I need information on this. I need your when are you available to play? Sadly, Yite and Guy couldn't play because they had work, but I'm really thankful everybody kind of made time to show up, and I think it made for a really cool little event. In terms of the fundraiser, we're actually $10 off of 25,000. And that's one of our milestones. $10 will get you an entry into our unusual raffle, and you can buy some cool unusual, there's a lot of stuff up there. We have cosmetics worn by the players, different unusuals, Australiums, a hoodie. If you also sign up for the raffle, you get a free credit in our movie. We're gonna have people everyone kind of document their path over to LAN and make it into like a film and kind of actually like it's more like a montage, and then we're gonna have that also be like the frag video. So that'll be pretty cool.
A fragmentary.
Yeah, it's a fragmentary. Yep. And I'm gonna try and get everyone kind of in there. I'm just really, really happy that we got to do this, and I'm really happy with a lot of the support the community's kind of been sliding our way. It's been really, really overwhelming, but I'm really happy to put in hours and hours of work just to make sure 6 other people can go overseas and compete for the first time in was it 2 years, 3 years,
something like that.
So it's incredibly humbling. It's like for shout outs, really shout out all the players who came today. Shout out all the players who couldn't make it. I really appreciate every single one of the people I support and sponsor for letting me kind of interject into their hobby and kind of boost them up and just kind of be there cheering them on. Makes me really happy to see them flourish and do well. Shout out Jay, best friend, the homie. Shout out production. I am really happy I got a hold of Eepily and got a hold of you, Jarrett, and got a hold of Dolphin for doing this kind of thing. I think the cast turned out super well, aside from a few hiccups. Thankfully, we were quick on that with the server, but I think the overall product was good, and I'm just really happy that we got a nice little event out of it.
All right, any shout outs from Brand Slim and Mac before we go ahead and wrap up the stream?
Shout out my team. Shout out to the EU Witness Gaming for showing up. It was really I appreciate it for doing the show match. Shout out my team and shout out production for doing this as well.
Yeah, shout out to the fundraiser. Go get it up. And shout out to Witness as well, obviously. And yeah, my team. That's it.
Anything from you, Eepily?
Nope. Shout out to no, actually, no. I take that back. Shout out to the players. Shout out to Witness for the Witness part of the Witness Gaming. Shout out to every single person who's going to be going or watching Copenhagen Games, because it is going to be sick, and I cannot make it clear how much I'm looking forward to the first LAN in 2 years. It's going to be fantastic. Anyone who goes there, please seek me out, and we will at least say hi or fist bump or whatever we can reasonably do, COVID allowing.
Yep.
We just broke 25 by the way. So we
Let's go.
We got there. So Team MGE tournament. That'll be fun. We get to see which one of the NA people are the best duelists on the roster, I suppose. I'm going to have to go and think up some new ones cuz this is let's see, there's 41 days left of the fundraiser. It'll end in January, but almost just 4 weeks. It's crazy. So just thank you for everyone who donated. Thank you for everyone who's kind of shared, on Twitter or talked about it with your friends. If you can't donate, but that's the best thing you can do is just share everything, talk about it, get conversation going. It all helps, and I'm really, really appreciative of it all.
Yep, definitely. Shout out to all the people who've backed so far. Shout out to all the people who hung out and watched with us throughout this this crazy show match that went on. If you're looking to watch more of both these teams, you can go ahead and continue to watch the NA squad in their upcoming weeks. They have playoffs going on over the next couple weeks, and you can see if Witness Gaming will be able to go back to back. You also have Witness Gaming EU, the EU squad over on TFTV. You can see their season unfold over the next couple weeks and see where they land for their playoff seeding. But for tonight, that is going to be, well, not tonight, but depending on where you live, tonight or this afternoon, it is going to be it for us. Thank you all for watching. I've been Jarrett with Eeply and Dolphin on production. Thank you, and see you next time.